Kojo Anson is an independent fashion model based in London. But before getting into modeling, he studied pharmaceutical chemistry, which helped him to become interested in the idea of experimenting with different things to receive different outcomes. And this mindset allowed Kojo to expand on his artistry and creativity. In between the years of 2020 and 2022, he would network with a group of people in which they formed a group called the Speedboat Collective, a group of versatile artists that showcase their creativity and collaborate with one another. Kojo has always had a passion for being creative by indulging in photography for personal projects, and then one day, by him sharing his photos with his group members, they helped encourage him on the idea of taking pictures more seriously. Until this one specific day is where everything changed. While Kojo was going through his lowest moments in life, he happened to be in Barbican, in the London area, where he was randomly approached about the idea of taking pictures around Barbican by a man named Charlie, who also invited Kojo to try out his first photo shoot. Ever since then, Kojo befriended Charlie and has gotten the chance to meet many people, explore different places, and find more opportunities in the fashion world. Even having the opportunity to walk the runway at London Fashion Week in 2024. He has worked with multiple clothing brands, including
Égérie des Cités
and Elevation. Now, I don't want to spoil too much, so please stay tuned for an amazing conversation where Kojo shares more about his journey as a fashion model and creator.
Perfect. Perfect.
Hey there, Armor here today. Welcome to a brand new Armavation conversation. Well, today I have the opportunity to speak to an amazing creative individual. Not only does he have the style, the looks, but he can pose like the rent is due. The Ghanaian fashion model all the way from London but born in Germany. I welcome you,
Yeah.
Kojo Anson. Is that how I say your last
Hi
name?
guys. It's Anson. But yeah,
Anson.
you did it.
Okay.
Anson.
Well, thanks so
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kojo, for being here because I know you could use your time anywhere else. But so yeah.
No, I actually been really excited for this. I did something similar a couple of weeks ago, but they cut all the like juicy stuff out of it because corporate. But so I'm excited for this. I know you're gonna ask all the hitting questions, and I know you're gonna put that in the video. So I'm actually excited to share
Oh yeah,
my journey.
we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. Yes. So
Yeah.
okay, as always, before I get to my main topics, I want to ask you, human to human being, how are you feeling? 2025 is around the corner. How have you been enjoying this year? Do you have any accomplishment or goals that you achieved this year that you want to share?
Yes, I do. Number one, I'm happy to announce that, um, like I'm healthy. God has made me, my family, everyone's healthy, and that's something we've always been struggling with. But this year, it's been amazing that my health has been amazing. So I gotta thank God for that. And in addition to that, with my accomplishment, probably the biggest one. I'm sure you would want to get into it at some point more, but I completed my first ever season of walking at London Fashion Week.
Woo!
So
What?
yeah,
Let's
again,
go.
it was a whole thing, but I don't even like remember half of it. I blacked out, but I'll try my best to remember it for you. But yeah, gotta thank God for that, and gotta thank everyone involved for it. I gotta give a special shout out to my designer, Average George. Shout out to them for believing in me and allowing me to showcase their garments. So yeah,
Yeah, shout out to them. A lot goes into runway shows, fashion shows in general, that people don't see behind the scenes. So, yes,
they definitely do.
it's definitely a teamwork makes the dream work kind of
Oh,
scenario. So,
100%, 100%.
All right, all right. So let's get started. I want to dive into talking about your career in general as a fashion model, right? So take us back to the day when you were a younger version of Kojo and you're thinking, what do I want
Yeah.
to do with my life? How did you get into
Okay.
modeling? Why were you interested in modeling? What were you inspired by? How did you get to where you are now?
It was there's a lot of how would I say it, like infraction points in time where it's like, okay, this was one point where I started modeling. This is why I'm doing this. And I gotta first of all give a thanks to the people around me. Um I know nowadays people love to be on that. I'm independent, I do this all myself, but I would be nowhere without the people around me, supporting me, believing in me before I even believed in myself. I initially, and I still want to do this, I have studied a career in pharmaceutical chemistry. So I was a science nerd, but then something occurred um, around, I'd say, what year was it? 2022. But we can even skip it back to 2020 when I met a lot of great people during COVID, and that's one of my main support system is my speedboat collective brothers. But modeling, how it started, I never actually had a passion for it. I'm not gonna sit here in line and say yes. I always wanted to walk down because I'm actually contrary to believe like most people how most people think about it. Like I'm very shy and I don't love the limelight.
Yeah.
Um, but I love being creative. That's definitely something that's always been within me. And I see kind of not a lot of people understand it, but the creative side came from the scientific side. Because in chemistry, you have to be in a lab creating stuff, creating new formulas, like mixing stuff together, and understanding that when you try new things, new possibilities can kind of come out of those experiments. So I definitely that's where it stems from. Um, Definitely won't say I've always had the passion, but I would say the first infraction point was when during COVID I got introduced to a great group of people. Uh, this is the SB Bros, and they kind of were one of the first people that believed me. They were like, "Yo," like when I first showed them kind of my pictures because we were kind of all in Discord chatting one day, and I showed him my picture, and I'm like, "Yo, you look really good. Like you have a good jawline, blah blah." And I never thought about it. Um, and they were like, "Yeah, like your pictures are hard too." Like, and I was just kind of always just taking pictures for myself. I was like creating like capsules of kind of stories in terms of like going out, finding a location, finding a specific outfit, and kind of creating a snapshot and capsule and kind of presenting that. But I always had it on my like private spam account where nobody followed it. So I was always doing that for myself. But then, kind of fast forward, um, there was a time where I wasn't really doing great mentally. And I was in a specific part of London, it's called Barbican. And I was so low mentally, and I kind of told it, God, I was like, yo, I got no blessings in this world. Like there's no reason for me to be here. And then, like clockwork, this guy came up to me. His name is Charlie. He's my brother, and I love him to this day. And he was like, "Oh, would you like to take pictures around Barbican?" And then I was like, "I have nothing to lose." Like, it wasn't necessarily I already had a passion to do it, but I had nothing to lose. So I was like,
Right.
"Why not? Let's do it." Um, and then we kind of just walked around, took some pictures. He's telling me about his photography business. We are speaking about life. And then he's like, oh, like there's this rooftop I know, like a couple of stops from here. Would you want to go and take pictures up there and just keep chatting? And I was like, do I go with this little white boy that I've never met a day in my life? Um, and again, I had nothing to lose. I was like, oh, why not? Let's do it. And then we kind of walked, took the train, then got to this building, and it wasn't like a rooftop where it's like anyone can just enter. He had like a specific key. This is quite incriminating. A specific key that like the managers or like the firemen would use to like get into any building. And we kind of went into this building, went up top, and it was like the most beautiful view. And from that point, he like invited me to a photo shoot. So I'll come along, see how you feel. And then I met other people, and it was just kind of a snowball effect. And it was just a kind of an outlet as well to express my creativity. Um, yeah, so that's how it kind of started. And I would only say for the past year and a half, I'm like trying to, okay, let me see if I can make it a career, get paid for it. And it's been going very well. I'm definitely very blessed in that regard for all the opportunities and all the people that I've met throughout this journey I've been on. But yeah, that's how I kind of started modeling, to be honest. That
Yeah.
was one of the fraction points.
That's really interesting. You mentioned that because a lot of models, go through that where they're just kind of like walking in a certain area and they get noticed by someone that's like, "Hey, you should do this," and they're like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
And
it
that
was literally like that. I was like, "What do you like me?" No, and even like when I went to a couple of other shoots, they were like, "He was like, yeah, you're amazing, you're amazing." I'm like no, like I don't know what you guys see. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't see that same thing. Like I don't believe for the first, I say 60% of the journey. Like anytime anyone talks, "Oh, you're really great, you have this," I'm like, but why though? Like I don't know what I'm doing that is so special that you can see that I can't see because I've lived with myself for 20 plus years. So why can't I see it?
right,
Um, but eventually, you kind of learn to have that confidence, and obviously, being humble is great, but you should also believe in the gifts and talents and the faith that others put in you too. Um,
hmm,
kind of not let them down in the sense of like, yo, these people are telling me like, yo, I could be great. Let me make sure that nobody calls them liars, you know what I mean? And go be great.
hmm,
Um, so that's kind of main driving force to do what I do, to be honest. Yeah.
and it,
But it's definitely very weird when like random people just approach you and it's like, yeah, I'm like, ah.
yeah, that's interesting. You say that. I mean, since you're kind of a little more up there as far as you being a model and your social media presence, do you have people that kind of like say, "Oh yeah, I know that I've seen that phase before." Like, do you have people coming up to you yet for pictures or anything yet?
um, I wouldn't say um like in person, no, I wouldn't say I'm, Britain's next top model or anything like that. Like,
Hmm.
I definitely wouldn't have those high reaching qualities. Even my social media presence isn't as great as it possibly could be because, again, I'm very shy. So I was kind of apprehensive with even sharing stuff on social media.
Okay.
Uh, but it's definitely people reach out. It's kind of like a hidden network and community that like reach out to you and like I'll receive DMs like, oh, like so and so's told me about you. Let's work. Let's make something great. You know what I mean? Or so and so's told me about you. I heard you do this. Would you mind ever wanting to, work on this shoot that I've been assigned to do?
Mm.
So definitely not in person, but like, you know how a lot of people nowadays say like, "Oh, social media is disgusting," and like, sometimes I feel that way too. Like sometimes I'll be on some apps, I'm like, "Oh, this is not great for my mental health at all."
Right.
But in the same sense, it's like there's a lot of beautiful people that just want to show love on this app, and I will never be any less grateful for it. So yeah,
Hmm.
there's a lot of times people do reach out to you, and I think that's a great thing when it's like someone sees potential in you and believes you and is willing to take that risk, even
Yeah.
if they don't know you. Um,
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that too, because my next question was like, talk about your first ever photo shoot and like, how did you feel? Were you nervous, self doubt? And you mentioned that you kind of felt like indifferent about it first because you was like, what? I don't see myself like being in this position, but you kind of just it seemed like you just kind of roll with it because
yeah,
there's people out there that believe in you, so that's good to know.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So the first photo shoot that I've ever done was around 2021. I wouldn't even say it was like it wasn't like anything paid for. It was just like so how it worked out was at the time I was with someone I was seeing, and then I received a call from my sister, and she was like, "Oh, this girl that you met one time when you came to my church, she is asking for you. I was wondering if you wanted to shoot some pictures for her. She might be submitting it to like a magazine or like I think it was like a competition or something like that." And then I'm like, which girl are you talking about? Like, I don't remember this girl you're talking about. She's like, oh, no, this girl named Sarah Mensa. Like, she wants to shoot with you. And I'm like, why? Like, I don't understand why. And I was like, and my sister was like, just say yes, bro. Just say yes. And I'm like, okay, sure. And initially, it was going to be me and another girl from that same church. That girl ended up wasn't able to make that same day. So I asked the person I was seeing at the time, I was like, oh, would you want to come with me? Because it felt kind of easier having someone there that I knew, and that I was also very unfamiliar with this kind of space there. But it was definitely a deep end because it was kind of a, have you ever watched the show Bridgerton before?
No, I don't think I have. No.
So it's like imagine those like old Victorian times where the guys have like the lace shirts, like
Right.
almost like Prince, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it was that type of thing. Like I had a whole lace shirt, like skin showing through the lace. Like this is the deep end. I'm like, but I was like, if I can do this, then like it wasn't even the thing. I was thinking like far ahead into the future, but it was more so like okay, like if I can do this, like it'll do a lot for my confidence, and that's all I really. And I also wanted to do a favor for my sisters. Like, okay, this girl's reaching out to you. Let me do her solid. And shout out to her, Sarah Mentor. She's an incredible creative photographer and visionary. If you ever have a chance to speak to her and see her, she's actually the most incredible person. She's one of the pivotal pieces when I describe people believing in me. Like she was one of the first people. Like, yeah, like when we did that shoot, I saw something in you and I felt like you could do this. And then she always invited me to like personal projects. And she still to this day is an incredible motivation, inspiration to me where she like sends me like opportunities. She's like, oh, so and so's looking for someone like this. You should do it. And I'm like, but yeah, that first shoot was like in the middle of like I would say it was like a botanical garden, like you know, like the Batman type of manor
Right.
that
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne kind of lives in. It
Mhm.
was kind of like that, but like open to the public with like a garden. So very like olden
Oh, okay.
type of thing. Yeah, but it was in public, so like it was the most deep end thing you could possibly imagine. Um, the fit was I can if I can I'll probably find a picture and send it to you.
Okay.
Um, I probably should have searched it up earlier, but yeah, that was, and we were just outside. But she was very great in terms of directing and just kind of guiding me throughout the process. If I was doing anything right, she would tell me like, "Okay, look, this is what you're doing. It's amazing." I'm like, I don't even know why I'm doing. I don't know like what exactly you're talking about, but I'll continue doing it. And then she would direct me in terms of, yeah, okay, do this a little bit and do that a little bit, and then from that it was kind of just a learning curve. So she's a great educator.
Right.
Um, so I'm glad that that was my first shoot because a lot of the times you probably hear, yeah, like these nightmare photo shoots, which I have a lot of nightmare photo shoots too. I'm not gonna say that I've been completely lucky, but the fact that that was my first one was amazing. It wasn't until from there, 2021, like fast forward like a year and a half later, where that story happened, where like the photographer came up to me. So that was definitely the first shoot, though I would say.
And shout out to Sarah. She seems like a mentor to you. And
In terms of like human beings, that's one of the person I'm like, yo, that's a human being that I want to see at the top. Like, obviously, I want to see a lot of people at the top, but like,
mhm.
not everyone deserves to be up there. But that Sarah Mensah, and in terms of like, if you remove all the personal relationships I have after her, like me completely not being biased, she has a mind of a creative that is always willing to listen and learn. And like she's willing to learn from like aspects of life that you wouldn't even dream of. Like she'll implement like struggles in terms of her upbringing into a creative photo shoot. And she'll like walk past a certain like spot and instantly be like inspired and think of a whole creative concept. She's actually the most amazing
Wow.
human being. I'm so grateful for her, honestly.
She sounds like an interesting person to talk to. I would love to talk to her if I got the chance. That sounds wonderful.
I will send you her stuff.
Yeah.
At the time at this moment she's moving, so she's a little busy.
Gotcha.
But we even have a concert brewing. And hopefully in the future when we probably
Hmm.
hopefully we can do this again when we're both like at the top of our game, and then kind of look back and be like, oh yeah, so Sarah, what you even? I'm sure she'd love to do something with you.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Shout out to Sarah once again. Yeah.
I said,
Okay, so let's go down and like share with me like a typical day for you as a model when you have a photo shoot from start to finish, like a gym routine. Like you do some stretches and stuff, and you do the little things you do. So like for you as a model, what's step one from when you wake up in the morning to the end when you're done with your photo shoot and you're going back home?
okay, so it's slightly. I feel like it's a little different for me because at the moment I am not signed. I'm still freelancing and quite independent.
Okay.
And where I live, it's very far from like where all the opportunities are in London, for example. So for the most part, in terms of, I can give you my day to day in terms of me booking jobs and then my day to day and me like doing the jobs. Booking job every single day. Like I wake up around 6, 7, and I'm going to be the most annoying human being on this planet. Emails, DMs, I'm on different creative apps, just sending yo, would you like to work together? I'll pitch ideas like let's be on a call. And I'll do that first thing I wake up in the morning. Um, I didn't used to, it's definitely something I picked up a habit this year. And it's worked wonders for me. But I try to like be as annoying as possible. It's like if I want someone to reach out to, I won't be scared to do so. So that's definitely the first thing I do. And then over the day while I'm home, I'll kind of do that. And also write in terms of thinking of creative processes, creative projects to think of to like collab with other creators. Because I always say that a lot of the opportunities that I've been given that have been had monetary value in them have stemmed from me doing collabs with people just off the strength of we love this creative stuff. You know what I mean? Like we love to just think of ideas, make a concept, shoot it, and present it. And from those kind of unpaid, just off the strength of love for creative, that's where people have seen me and be like, oh, this guy's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pull him into this clothing brand we have and shoot. So I always tell everyone that like don't sleep on those unpaid test shoots. Like those are very important. And it's also just like creating a network and a community of people that like help and support you. Um, but yeah, that's definitely on slow days. That's what I'm always doing. Literally every single day. I'm like, if I'm on Instagram, I'm DMing brands, photographers, videographers, agencies. Like I'm on specific create pages where they post different opportunities. Replying to those if I see like, okay, this is something I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of me shooting, um, so because I live quite far, what I always do is I will compile. I'll try to, anyways. Obviously, you and I know, like being a freelancer, it's not a stable source of opportunities all the time.
Right.
But what I'll try to do then is when I do have an opportunity, I'll try to have multiple. So if it's just one clothing brand shoot where I get paid for, then what I'll do is they're usually in London. So what I'll do is I'll go stay in London for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and during that time I'll organize other shoots to do. So while I'm there, then I can also do those other shoots, whether it's paid for, whether it's collab with other creators that I really get inspired and want to work with. Um, I will try to organize that all in a span. So then when I go over there, it's like, okay, this day I'm doing this, the next day I'm doing this one, the next day I'm doing this one. And usually for those days, it's very early starts. Different shoots kind of range from different hours. Some are like couple couple hours, some can be 8, 10 hours. Um, but how I kind of prepare myself is when I'm in London, my routine is very the same. Like I eat the same 3 meals. I do the same kind of sleeping routine, skincare routine. That way my body is at a like maintains at a stable rate almost.
Mm-hmm.
So I can be prepared for anything. Um, but yeah, definitely I'll spend some time in London kind of shooting and working, and then I come back home to like my family home here, just like it's like 90 kilometers away. But and then I that's where I kind of do my reset and kind of work on my mental things. That way, I'm ready to go when it's time for another shoot and another opportunity. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems like that routine helps you get in the zone to like, okay, this is what I'm doing. It's that repetition, kind of like with
Yeah.
sports, like they're constantly doing certain drills to get them prepared for the next game. So yeah, definitely.
You have to do certain reps to get your mind and body right, and that way you're always ready to go. And don't then you don't burn out as well. And
That's
I
true.
like the routine I'm in now because I feel like if I lived directly in London, I would just be on go 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 mode. And London's a lot like that. It's a fast paced city. That's why I'm very grateful and blessed that I have a family home like in the middle of nowhere. That way, it's like I have time to reset, work on my mental, rest, because my body is just as important to my modeling and my mind as well as anything else.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely about getting those reps in and being consistent, but also getting your reps in and taking care of yourself.
Yeah, so for educational purposes, can you explain? You kind of mentioned you being more of a freelancer. What's the difference like being a more of a freelancing model compared to another person that has a whole team behind them? They're with multiple agencies. Can you explain the difference?
Okay, so I would say freelancing is definitely every opportunity you get, every shoot you get, every you have to go get it for yourself. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like being an entrepreneur against being, an employee. And I would say there's nothing wrong with going either way. It was kind of a decision for me. And obviously, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, 60 agencies are calling my phone, which is just not true. I'm definitely not at that stage in terms of showcasing like my modeling ability that a lot of agencies call me, but even the agencies that have been interested and I have reached out to, it was kind of a decision for me to be like, I don't want to sacrifice the the creative people around me yet. And a lot of times with agencies, it's kind of like you just work with that agencies. They kind of have a control. Nowadays, it's less as strict as it was, but agencies definitely have a control over your career. A lot of the times, I've talked to people in the industry and they've been like, well, yeah, my agency hasn't sent me to a single paid job in the last 4 months. I've kind of been sitting duck. And a lot of times, agencies kind of control what you can post and like who you can work with. And a lot of times, I I definitely say that, especially with the goal I have in mind for this, the kind of end goal of it is that don't want to sacrifice the people around me that made me who I am and have made me into this caliber of model that I am today. I don't want to sacrifice, the photographers I work with, the videographers I work with, the producers, the things of that nature. And it's kind of like I don't want an agent to tell me like, oh, you can't really showcase that work at the moment because it doesn't really fit your brand image. When it's like they're the reason why you like me in the first place. So at the moment, I'm not saying I will never be in a partner agency. Definitely, if the agency is right for me, I definitely will take an interest in that. But I think for a freelancer it's just a thing of like an agency will stroke like do the networking part for you. They'll send you to the brands, they'll send you to the places, so you don't have to worry about that. But with freelancing, you kind of have to take the ownership initiative. Like I said, I wake up in the morning, and if I don't be proactive, nothing is coming through my door. Um, so it's definitely not a difference in terms of one has a team, one doesn't. You just kind of in freelancing have to build your own team. And I'm very lucky and grateful for the team community that's around me. Amazing. Like these, I have so many names I want to speak to you about in this interview because
Yeah.
there's so many individuals that literally they do it of the strength of love, like and
Hmm.
believing in me, having faith in me, and I kind of want to reflect that same type of love and faith back to them. And that's kind of my end goal with it, with being able to have my own creative agencies, but I'm not going to be one who's like monopolizing or like, nah, you can't do this. It's like, no, I'm going to make sure have your best interests at heart and send you to places where you're wanted and do whatever it takes. But in order to do that, I need to be able to build my own connections and build my own network of people. And that's what I'm currently doing at the time.
That's a very interesting perspective. I kind of think about it like independent artists versus artists who are on major labels. And, that's really interesting and very like a heart warming moment that you mentioned that there's a lot of people that you created great relationships with that it would be hard for you to let go if you just were to move into, the big agency world so quickly because you made those strong connections. And I think that's something maybe a lot of people don't think about. Like, there's a lot of people when they start at the bottom, they made these strong connections, and then when they go mainstream, they kind of lose some of that, and things change.
Yeah, I do not ever want to uh, be in a point where that's happening. Even if it's like I'm making millions more money, I don't ever want to sacrifice and let those type of people go. And obviously, some people like you grow past, but I don't want to ever be ungrateful or like leave people behind. That like if I can help someone that's helped me, I would want to do that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. We hinted at this before, but with you having some experience in the fashion world, what has been your highest moment in your career so far, and then what has been your lowest moment in your career so far?
Highest moments. Okay, I definitely know my lowest moment. For a stretch, I say stretch, maybe the entire year of 2022. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Um, Initially, I met some incredible people, and that kind of gave me a false perspective on how the industry is. And as a result, I was definitely, I don't regret it because at the end of the day, I don't know what I don't know. But I was kind of naive in believing that everyone has your best interest at heart, which in any aspects of life is just not the case. Um, but what it, I think the lowest moments is probably when at the time I was living even further away because I was at university, and the way I was so sick in terms of because I deal with sickle cell, so I have sickle cell where so I'm in hospital quite a lot, but being starting out in the industry, I kind of just accepted everything and like just this is how it's gonna be. And at the time, I was literally going to university, studying, doing all my like assignments like on those like the day I got them, and then in the morning at like 3 a.m. travel all the way to London, which is like a 3 hour drive, do a shoot, come back at 8, then just rinse and repeat. And at that point, I was barely sleeping less than 2 hours. Um, and then as a result, like during that time, a lot of the people I was working for wasn't paying me. They were saying they were going to pay me, just didn't pay me. And that was kind of like that naivete I had at the point. I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure they're gonna pay me because they said they would. Now I understand it's not just all rainbows and sweets. Like it's you have to also maintain a level of business aspect. So now obviously I conduct myself in a more professional manner to protect myself. But yeah, I would definitely say 2022 because when I was first starting out, I was kind of gung ho, so I was kind of neglecting myself. Um, as a result, in 2020, it kind of ended in 2023, end of 2022, where one of my closest brothers, he unfortunately passed away. May God rest his soul.
I'm so sorry.
Um, that's okay. Like, but he was such an incredible light that kind of put a switch in me. Um, I kind of was like the way he was, and the way he interacted with people was kind of a thing of I want to carry that on in my life. That kind of made me understand like, okay, I need to do better and change for myself in order to protect me, in order to um, find a way to make this thing able to work. Because at the time, I was kind of just going with the flow, where people were inviting me to food, and I was just kind of not doing it proactively. And he was just kind of a hard worker and like how dedicated he was. I was like, okay, I want to kind of implement that into my life. So that kind of in turn turned into the kind of happiest highlight of my career. Um, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot. Probably the one people want to hear about is London Fashion Week.
Oh yeah, tell
So
us
it
about
was
it.
one. So it was actually it's funny. It's funny because again it was at a time. So I went to London. I had 4 shoots booked, and at the time I was dead broke. Like I had no money. Like so I was excited for them. I get to London and getting to London is not cheap. Like I don't drive to London because parking and things like that is just gonna run you up even more money.
Hmm.
So I just took the train. But the train is just like an hour. But it's not cheap. It's like £60, which is like around $80-100. If you're broke, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But so what had happened was I was in London. I'm like, okay, I'm about to come with this person, this person. I'm about to do this shoot, this shoot. Like it's looking up one by one. Oh, we can't do it. We're gonna have to delay it. Nah, I forgot. It was just canceling, canceling, canceling. So all those 4 shoot cancelled. So I was kind of London like, damn, I just got here and I have nothing to do. Um, and then it was like it's funny because the London Fashion Week thing was not planned. I definitely had opportunities earlier during kind of my journey where I was invited to London Fashion Week, but I couldn't do it because I wasn't very well at the time. But that specific point, I was never in my mind. I was like, yeah, I'm doing London Fashion Week this week. I didn't even realize it was London Fashion Week. So what had occurred was I saw this kind of opportunity, and I read it as for this designer for Jimmy Choo Academy. So Jimmy Choo is a prolific designer. He designs these woman heels, and he opened an academy in London where the graduate designers get to showcase their kind of graduate project for London Fashion Week. So it's it's on the card for London Fashion Week. It's on the schedule for London Fashion Week. So it's a big thing. But I read it as I'm going to be helping, like assisting behind the scenes, right? Because I'm always like, you can learn so much from every avenues of life. It's not just having modeling jobs. That's where you learn. Like you can learn from assisting. You can learn from helping out in a restaurant. You can gain so much like gems from just other aspects of life you wouldn't think about. So I was like, oh, let me just go assist. You know what I mean? Like I want to gain more experience to kind of see the behind the scenes of modeling. My dumbass, I go there, and it's like, oh yeah, what's your name? I'm like, my name is Andrew. So then I write it down, and then like, oh, just wait here. I'm looking around and like there's a lot of models waiting, and I'm just thinking like, oh, can't I just like go upstairs while like the models like are waiting downstairs? She's like, no, you gotta wait here too. I'm like, okay, fine. And like, mind you, I'm in a like graphic tee. I didn't shave because all my other jobs were cancelled. Um, I'm talking to other models like, yeah, you're gonna do well. I was like, and they're like, what are you here for? I'm like, oh, hey, I'm just here to help. I'm like, oh, great, great. And, like I'm hearing the models talk like, oh, I just came from New York. Like, I'm for this audition, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, that's amazing. Like, you're gonna do well. Like, I'm not thinking a single thing. And then all us have to walk upstairs. It's beautiful, like building. We walk up these like Victorian stairs. We go up, and it's like, have you ever watched like the American Talent like kind of shows where like the judges have like a panel?
Hmm.
It was kind of like that, and like on the side were like I said around 20 seats where all the models sit. And I'm just thinking like, oh, where do I sit? Like I'm here to help. It's like, no, 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 no. You're like we're casting you to like walk for us. I'm like walk, walk where? No, no, no. Like you're gonna walk for the Jimmy Choo like fashion show for London Fashion Week. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Wow.
Like I've like there's different aspects of modeling. Like you can be a commercial model, you can be a model that just does kind of like social campaigns where it's like, those ads you see on YouTube, or you can be a model that does like runway specifically. I've never been a runway. I've always just done be like commercial, where it's like, you see that like the pictures on Instagram and things like that. But I've never been a runway model. So when you say walk, I'm like, walk where? It's like, you're gonna walk for the runway show. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, must be something mistake. It's like, no, no, no. we have your picture here. And they just have my picture printed that my friend Julia took. Shout out to Julia. And I'm like, wait, I'm walking, and it's like it was a setup where it's like they asked everyone to come up, and now I'm like registering, like, oh, they actually want me to like audition. I'm like, I'm cooked because I'm looking around, like the most beautiful human beings I've ever seen in my entire life in front of me. I'm like, if you pick me over these, you are cats. So I'm like, okay. And mind you, I haven't shaved. Like for runway models, like the standard should be you shave, you have a white tee or black tee, slim fitting pants, slim fitting black pants, and you have your com card where it's like a picture of your, your headshot, your name, like in bold, and you give it to them. I had none of that. Fluffy as heck. Like I barely slept. Like graphic tee of a girl who's from like the luckiest stripper lounge. I'm like, I'm cooked. Like there's no preparation at like, and you ask me to walk, like how to walk. Imagine like someone asked me to walk on demand. All these thoughts were going from my head, but to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm not even getting this. So then everyone goes up one by one, and like we have to walk in front of each other. So it's not even like you go into a separate room, walk, and then come back out. Like while the other models are watching, like everyone's walking. I'm like seeing the models walk. I'm like, damn, okay. I'm like, okay. Like these guys are really good. Like I'm talking to the girl next to me, like, oh, she's really good. But like I'm not understanding that these girls are like trying to take each other's spots. These guys are trying to take spots. I'm not thinking I'm going to get this. So then they're like, I go up, and then they're like, "Oh, what's your name?" And like, "Oh, it's Kojo or Andrew." And they were like, "Okay, do you have a card?" I'm like, "No, I don't." They're like, "Do you know what music gonna walk to you?" I said, "I have no idea." Like, I'm gonna like say Afrobeats, but it's not really runway music. I don't know. I have no idea. So it was like, I was like, "You guys can just pick a song." And then I was like, I'm not a very cheery person, so bro, I was like, I gotta keep a straight face. I really, that's in that point. I gotta keep a straight face. How am I gonna keep a straight face? Um, and then I remember like I walked away from him and I was just cheesing. I looked at one of the models and he was like, composure. And then the judges were kind of discussing like behind me, and I was like, yo, stop smiling, and I'm cheesing still. And they're like, okay, Andre, you ready? I'm like, wait one sec. And then they're like, okay, Andrew, like, want to put the music on 3, 2, 1, go. I turn around, don't remember the walk. It was probably the worst walk I've ever seen in my life. But I walk to the judges, and turn around, walk back, and I'm thinking, it's like one of the like panel like designers. They go, "Can you do that again for me? Just a little bit slower." I'm like, "Okay, sure." Hit the again, and then they walk back. So, okay, Andrew, okay. Can you go to the next room? Get your measurements down, so and so. And again, everyone got their measurements down. So I wasn't thinking like, oh, me getting measurements was me being taken. So then I go in a room, and then one of the guys who went previous before me, he's kind of finished up taking his measurements and like talking to the designer that would design his pieces specifically. Um, and then he's talking to, I'm like, this is one of the most beautiful humans I've ever seen in my life. He even brought this designer like chocolate cake, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm cooked, bro. I didn't bring no gifts. Yeah, I'm cooked. Like I don't even know like what you guys' names are. Like I didn't check nothing. And then like yeah, taking my measurements, and then I'm like, I don't even know my measurements. Like this is something you should know as a model. I don't. So they did my measurements for me. I tried some of the kind of sample pieces on to see if like I'm the right fit. Um, and then I just went home and I didn't think about it. A couple of weeks later, I received a call from the designer. Um, and she goes, "Yeah, Andrew, like we wanted to choose you for our runway show." And I'm like, "But why?" And she said, "That's my first thing." Like, "But why?" Like, yeah, like really like your thing. And even like the picture they had of me was me with my long hair twist. In between like that, the audition and then when they picked me, I cut my hair, like my cut my hair in half. I didn't have to. So I'm like, yo, by the way, like hair's 60% shorter. Like if you need that, I can't give that to you. So like, that's fine, just come in, see how you are. And then there was just a lot of fittings, trying stuff on me, going back and forth. Um, because she was obviously still finishing the garments and pieces. And then I actually have a picture. So there was, hold on, let me count real quick. There was 5 of us selected for the specific designer, and yeah, like over time we kind of just talk to each other, because we all had to come for fittings to see how it would walk. Maybe if some people would switch different outfits, and those guys literally made the thing so much easier, even on runway day, and I'll get to it. I would have been, I wouldn't have had that much fun if it wasn't for them. So these are the people.
Ooh.
Um, these are all. This is me. Sorry, I can't really see it. This is my boy Jamal. This is the designer. Shout out Elena. Shout out. This is Lord. This is Delilah. This is fashion assistant. This is Tom and Z. And obviously all designers. We had kind of I don't know if did I save it. I'll try to send it to you.
Okay.
Um, like, yeah, it was a hectic day that day, and I didn't. You know what it was? I didn't tell anyone about anything because initially I didn't think I was walking, and then when I found out I was walking, I was like, I don't want to tell anyone I'm walking, and then I'm like, you hear the stories about they put me in a tutu and thongs. I'm bringing my African parents. I'm running and seeing on TV. I'm not doing that. So I literally I was like, and sometimes things fall through. Um, I didn't want to kind of get my hopes up and then kind of disappoint anybody. So yeah, fast forward to London Fashion Week. First of all, I get the biggest stress pimple of my entire life. I'm like, yo, you couldn't have come 2 months earlier. Like my skin was clear for the past 2 months. A week before, big ass pimple. I'm like, I'm cooked. Um, and then it was also very stressful because initially they wanted my afro. Last minute they were like, "Oh, can you go get your hair done?" But we don't know if you can get your hair done on the day. So can you get your hair done before? So I was already in London. I had to get back home, get my hair done, go back. The day comes. I wake up at 6 in the morning. I'm like, I'm not really deeping. I'm about to walk in front of like celebrities. The
Mhm.
London Fashion Week is gonna be live streaming. I'm not thinking about it. I get there, I see my boys, the average George boys, the models, and luckily for me, all of us had never done any runway. So everyone in my group, everyone who was wearing the specific pieces in that collection, we had never modeled. So we were all kind of in the same boat, and that made me feel like it reassured me so much. So yeah, it was kind of it was a little bit of waiting, but it was I got my makeup done for the first time, for like a baddie, but yeah, like I was so scared. Like I'm sitting in a makeup chair, just giggling, and I should like, oh, sit still. Like, what's wrong? Like
Right.
brush tickles, the brush tickles. You know what I mean? And then it was so weird. It was like a whole full circle moment. The friend that took the picture of me with my twist, her name is Julia. She's a photographer, model, and actor. Yo, some
Wow.
people be talented. I'm like, relax. No, I love her. No, she's actually one of the most talented, and she's so down to earth, like super down to earth. Like I've had so many conversations with her, and she's a genuine, like gentle and kind-hearted human being. I seen her, I'm like, wait, you're walking too? And and then she didn't hear that I was walking too, and she's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm walking. And she's like, what? And it's like she was so happy. Like she was even more happy that I was walking than she was walking. And so the picture that they hired me, not to hire me, that they actually had on my profile was pictures that she took. I'm like, and I was like, yo, if it wasn't for you, I would not be here. Um, so I gave her a big hug, and she kind of throughout the day came checking on me, gave me words of advice. And it was actually very, again, full circle moment. Our collection was right behind her collection. So she went out first and then I went out. So throughout the practice and fittings, like I was always behind her and she kind of like reassured like, we got this. So shout out to Julia. And yeah, it was just I was scared that was gonna be very hectic. I didn't know what to expect. And I was scared that there was gonna be a lot of people. you hear stories about your egotistical designers and
Mm-hmm.
models that like, but like everyone I had a chance to talk to was like so nice, like so beautiful human beings. Even my friend Sophie was there too. She's a model, but she was there just helping, assisting, and she was so happy for me that she's like, "Oh, where's your cameras? I know you brought your cameras." So I also do film photography. So I gave her my cameras, and then she kind of just took behind the scenes kind of pictures. Um, and even for the practice thing, it was funny. So for a practice thing, like we all go out in the specific order that we go out, and I walk out for the practice. Obviously, people are not there yet. And my friend Sophie, she goes, "Slay Queen." I'm like, "What's wrong with you? If you do that doing a real thing, I'm a giggle. I'm cooked. Like, don't
Yeah.
do that." It was funny, but everyone just made me feel so much at ease. From the other models to the makeup artist, the hair and makeup, to even like Jimmy Choo was there. He was like, "Yo, I love your girl's collection. Let's all take a picture." And we all took a picture with him too. But I would say like the actual walk, I remember zero of it. Like I had to lock it to the point where I literally had memory loss. Like if you ask me what were the colors of the walls, I don't remember. How many people there were, I don't remember. Because I was like, "Oh, don't smile, don't smile, don't smile." So I literally just looked at a specific point at the wall and just followed it around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, like as soon as we kind of got out, like I looked at the boys and we was like, we give handshakes. We were outplayed. Everyone else was so professional. Like everyone was like, "Okay, great job, guys." We were just some. It was all our first time, so we were just very ignorant guys, bro. Like, "Yeah, we did that. We did that." You know what I mean? Like, okay, who gonna talk to us? Like, talk to us nicely. You know what I mean? But it was just kind of being able to share with them. And like they're like literally my homies now. Like I say if someone asked me what's the thing that you look forward to the most during the London Fashion Week, I was like, it wasn't that I was getting to walk. I didn't really care about that. It was number one that I got to showcase my friend's collection. Um, yeah, I got to showcase my friend's collection. I got to showcase with people that like I know have the same kind of mindset in terms of like, yo, we just care that each of us got to like have that experience. Like that was what we was all excited for. So it was kind of lovely sharing that with them. And yeah, I don't remember much of the walk itself. I
Mm-hmm.
generally blacked out. There's definitely pictures. Are they here? Um, but yeah, I don't remember much of the walk. I definitely remember more of the kind of behind the scenes and kind of like the lead up to it. But the actual thing, blacked. So this is me, my friend Lord, in
Oh,
our
nice.
ensemble pieces. Shout out to Lord. He's one of the most funniest guys I know. It was weird because, like I said, like yeah, my friend Julia was there. My friend and her mutual friend Vasiliki was also there, who I've been planning to meet up with because Julia kind of spoke about me to her, and like so we kind of knew about each other but never had a chance to meet. So
Mm-hmm.
we kind of met. My friend Sophie, we met. I met other people there. Shout out to Yasmeen. She flew all the way from Brazil. Shout out to Shay. She was great. She gave me like some kind compliment. And then Laura was just kind of like, "How greedy? Like all these like supermodels." I'm like, "Yo, it's not what it looks like. It's just this is the homies. I didn't know they were even gonna be here." So
Mm-hmm.
Lord is the one of the most hilarious humans I know. But again, him like he did an amazing job, and it's actually funny because I was meant to carry a briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost carry a briefcase, but some of the briefcases didn't come in time. So there was only three briefcases. Uh, and one of the briefcases was actually my dad's. And I wasn't able to hold it like while walking down because it didn't kind of match the outfit that I was wearing. But then I was like, Lord was like, "Oh, but let me hold it because I know it's important to Andrew." And while he was walking, he was wearing the briefcase, holding the briefcase and walking down. And I saw the pictures afterwards, and actually that picture got posted on Forbes, um,
Wow.
like the day afterwards. And I was so geeked, and I told my dad, like, "Dad, your briefcase went on Forbes." Like, it wasn't me, but like, Lord is carrying your briefcase. And we were so high, like, we were all just so excited. And that was probably the most beautiful thing about this entire journey, where it's like, it's just other people being excited for other people to succeed. And it's like that's just you can't replace that like that feeling. Like,
Hmm.
and I'm grateful that I've met so many people that are similar minded who like you. I want to see that next person succeed just off the strength of love. To be honest.
Wow, that's an amazing story, Kojo. Just from the start to how things didn't work out in the beginning, and it turned into a whole nother like timeline for you that she didn't expect.
Yes,
Uh,
not at all, bro.
so let me see. Let me ask you, based on that, what do you think you learned about yourself in that moment where you had to adapt quickly? You didn't know how things were going. What do you think you learned about yourself from that experience?
From that experience, I kind of that's it's weird because I've at that point I've been doing modeling for a year and a half, but I never, like I told you, I'd never probably had that confidence. Like, yo, I'm him. You know what I mean? Like even then, like it wasn't like the London Fashion Week, London Fashion Week, but it wasn't like I learned that I'm him. But it was more so that I put myself in a situation that was very foreign to me. And I definitely wouldn't say I had the skill set and know how to perform proactively in that kind of situation. But me being that kind of foreign environment, I did what I could and I tried my best in it. I mean, that's why I kind of from there my confidence kind of shot up. Not because it was London Fashion, but more so it was because yo, you did this knowing fully well that this is not something that you have confidence in. So just kind of think of like if you can put your mind to it, you can achieve anything. And from there, it was kind of a thing of like, okay, have more confidence in your modeling ability. Um, and that was a thing for where I wasn't then able to pitch myself to other people and other brands more effectively. It's weird because modeling, what it eventually boils down to is marketing. You know what I mean? You
Mm.
need to be able to, like a model markets what clothes they're wearing. You need to be able to market yourselves to other like organizations, brands, whatever companies, whatever it may be. You need to be able to market yourself so that they believe in you to showcase what they believe in. Um, so in that point, yeah, I kind of learned a new sense of confidence. And I was able to, okay, by the way, I'm Andrew. This is what I've achieved. This is what my skill set is. And I think this will be something that would be great in this specific project or specific new campaign that you're shooting for. And now I'm able to effectively market myself more because I have learned that new sense of confidence from the people around me. And definitely during that time, and it's weird. It's kind of up and down because it was definitely like I obviously didn't have those opportunities, and they kind of all kind of fell through to the London Fashion Week, and afterwards I ended up in hospital. But at the time, it was such a sense of people who like I had conversations with like, yo, they really believe me to a point where it's like, damn, like so many people have such heart and like really are happy for me. And it wasn't a sense of like, oh, just people showing up because things are great for you right now. But it was this thing of like people are taking time. Like me and Julia had like long conversations after the runway walk, and even me and Vasiliki had conversation. Me and Lord, me and Tammy, me and Sarah, me and Sav, me and the SB bros. Like such heartfelt conversations to a point where even when I was low afterwards, when I was in hospital, I was like, yo, I have the ability and I need to start believing in myself so that I can showcase every single faith and belief that those that I love around me have in me. Um, and that's what I kind of learned through that. And I'm obviously still learning, growing through that, but it's a definitely new sense of confidence that I'm able to apply in every single aspects of my kind of life now.
Right, right. And I'm glad you mentioned that too. You listed out all the people you wanted to shout out that have helped you through your career growth and personal growth because that was my next question. But I'm glad you already did that already. So yeah, but you talked about London Fashion Week. And I assume you travel many places around the world. So, what are some of your favorite places or spots to do photo shoots? Meet new people, or just places to shop for fashion in general?
Okay, so um the top two places, it's weird. Like some places I didn't even go to specifically for like I went specifically for like either like me going to vacation or me going for a specific agenda, and then you just meet some beautiful human beings. I would number one. I think I still want to move there, but we got to get the language up. Paris, shout out to Paris. Paris is, and it's weird because a lot of times people be like, "Oh, Paris was like very cold to me." And I'm like, I see that because you did not meet the right people. I like to think first and foremost, and these two individuals, shout out Prince and Ryan. These two people, literally my brothers. Prince I met because my sister did a year abroad for university in France, and she met this family, and then they became friends, and they actually spent Christmas over here in during 2019. And from them being Prince, I've literally become brothers. And he had a clothing brand called Égérie de Cités. Um, and I was working with them on the kind of social media side, also like helping managing their TikToks and Instagram page. Um, and I was actually going to Paris quite a lot for like pop-up shops. So anytime they had pop-up shops for their clothing brand, I would go there, and the amount of talented, just amazing people that I've met through that has been so amazing. Like brothers, I know I have for life. Prince and Ryan are literally my brothers for life. They're not the homies no more. My brothers, like for my birthday, they sent me these platform messages. I'm like, oh, I literally love these kids. And it was funny because at one pop-up shop, this was the one in 2022, so many great people, and it was such a success. And it was funny, it's always that thing where it's like, everything's going great, but then things are going like down the drain. Whereas like pop-up shop was amazing, and like a lot of international and French artists wanted to wear the clothes like throughout their tours, and we were so geeked. And at the same time, we were kind of in the office, which was in the middle of the hood. Like it was the most ghetto place imaginable. That's where the
Right.
office were with all the merchandise. And we just finished this great pop-up shoot. And we were very hands-on. So like we were carrying all the like 10 bags of stuff back and forth from the office to the pop-up location, back and forth. At the end of it, we're carrying all the stuff back, and it's like thundering and raining. The office is flooding to the point where like mold is forming inside the walls.
Wow.
And we're just there like, yeah, like everything's going great. And like one person that obviously Prince knew recently, I don't know if you know the specific artist, but they put the brand um on a shoot that they did with New Balance, and that shoot was in Times Square on a big billboard.
Mm.
Um, and we just kind of seen this while like the office is flooding. It was like, damn, our shit's in like Times Square,
Wow.
and mold is forming on the wall. Like niggas will never know. Like people will never know it really is like that. But it was kind of like, yeah, Paris definitely want to place it. I think the second place I would have to say is Oslo. The nicest people you would ever meet are in Norway. I don't know what anybody says. Those people are just incredibly nice. Shout out to Sharon. Shout out to Daz. Shout out to Sarah. There's so many people. Shout out to Trill. So many people that I've met out there. It's like, yo, these people are just genuinely nice, and that kind of they those people believe in me just off a week-long vacation that I had in Norway with my bros, where it was literally so last minute where I was at a shoot in London, and the photographer Charlie, the same photographer that I met, um, who was like, "Oh, you want to take pictures of our barbecue?" I was at a shoot with him, and he's like, "I'm going to Norway for a couple of days." No, that's cool. Like, I've always wanted to go to Norway. I'm like, "Do you want to come with?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Do you want to come with? You're going on Tuesday, mind you. It's Sunday." And I'm like, "What do you mean you want to come with?" Like, come with. Like, book the ticket right now. Like, we're at the shoot right now. We're just taking pictures. You want to book my tickets right now? I took the tickets. The tickets are actually dirt cheap. So I'm like, should I go? But mind you, after I'm in London, I have to go back home, get my passport, pack my stuff, then go back to the airport in London. It's like, oh, should I do this? And I just booked it, and I never regretted it since. Like, I met so many amazing people, and then I think it's a lot of times with me, it's never really about the place itself, but it's always about the people. Um, that's always something that motivates me and kind of makes me happy. Just meeting incredible people, to be honest.
Right, awesome, awesome. And I'm glad you mentioned that French brand. I cannot pronounce it. My French is terrible. But
Uh,
I wanted to
Égérie des Cités.
wait. Say it again.
Égérie
Égérie
des
de
Cités. It
Cité.
means like the muse of the city.
Music Saves, right. Okay, so speaking of going into fashion brands and clothing, I know you spoke about it a little bit, but if you could elaborate more about the clothing brand and, tell us a little bit more about the brand and like the meaning kind of behind it. You mentioned this before a little bit, but how did you get to work with them and what do you like about their clothing pieces in general?
Okay, so with Égérie, I believe, again, I'm not French. If anyone who's French sees this, like, oh, that's not what it means. This is what I was told, or I just wasn't listening, right? It means the muse of the city. So it's kind of like this is something that inspired. It's an inspiration coming from the city. So Prince and Ryan, they're incredible talents, such hardworking people. Um, Initially, it was Prince's idea, who did it with a couple of his friends and cousins, I believe. Um, and he showed me one of his first shots when he came here back in 2019 for Christmas. It was like a golden hoodie, just his branding on it. I'm like, yo, this is dope. Knowing for well, like it was just a hoodie, man. But from that point, one thing I would say about those two is they care just so much with putting effort into their pieces, effort into their campaigns, effort into their marketing. Like a lot of the times, it was never about a lot of clothing owners. There's nothing wrong with it because we needed to survive. Get into kind of the clothing thing because they just want to make money. Um, Prince and Ryan care generally about the design and like showcasing this thing in a way where it's like, yo, we care about each individual piece. And I've had some of the garments here. I have a lot of the garments here actually. And it's like I'm never gonna just wear or listen to music or like wear some of the pieces just because it's the bros. Like I need you to understand that like I believe in this because I would buy this even if it wasn't you. Um, and a lot of the times Prince and Ryan put so much effort into designs. Like sometimes like working months on like get the best material, the most thick, the most high quality material. And that's what I respect about them. They kind of sacrificed a lot of the probably profit they could have made for themselves of the pure aspect of they want to put it back into the business and create dope pieces and garments. So that's why literally that's a reason I respected them. And so when they kind of invited me to a pop-up shop, was this in 2021 December? No, that's a whole lie. I wasn't paying my own. I'm getting my timelines mixed up. Was it 2022 December? Yeah. At the time, I was dead broke, but then I was like, I gotta go pull up for them and support, help work at the pop-up shop, help make sure everything was filled because this is something they believe in. Um, and I think you can probably see on my Instagram. It was so amazing. It was most stressful. Like we were waking up at 4 in the morning, like bringing the pieces there, like bringing this there, bringing this, like making sure these frames are there. Like I was, bro, during the pop shop while it's going on, I'm still putting like, like the eyelets, like the strings in a hoodie.
Yes.
I'm still putting each individual string through the hoodie like thing all the way around while
Wow.
like people are coming downstairs purchasing stuff. Like I'm upstairs like going crazy, but just off the pure fact like, I believe in these guys and I know how much effort they put in. So me coming down for 5 days, working non-stop from like 3 in the morning to 11 p.m. Like pop shops from like 9 to 6, 7, but you have to work afterwards, make sure like things are smooth for the next day. So it was a lot of times where it was like we were sleeping 2 hours. Um, and there was a few pop shops, and it's just the people. If the people you meet there and like the faces I kind of saw on Prince and Ryan in the effort they put into it, because I saw a lot of behind the scenes that made me kind of okay, when I get back to the UK, when they put that same drive and energy into my craft because they support me all the time. They always tell me how much they believe in me, and when I'm not great, like they're the ones calling me and supporting me. So I gotta I gotta show up for them too. Um, and yeah, it's been good. They're on a little hiatus now. I always say days, like I work with them too, but they're on a little hiatus now, just kind of trying to figure out the next step in growing their business because they definitely have the design aspect and building the kind of cult fan base in Paris down. It's kind of the next step in kind of expanding that we're kind of figuring out. But I'm excited for things to come for sure.
Wow, I'm definitely proud to hear that for you guys. Like, a lot of people don't
Thank you.
see the behind the scenes of what really goes on when it comes to clothing brands and fashion. And I don't know if you saw the movie Devil Wears Prada, but it kind of like sends out the message where like some people just see clothing like, oh, it's just a hoodie or whatever. Like, why are you paying that much? But on the other side, the flip side, there's a lot of work that goes into putting these pieces together, texturing, styling, designing. And so you got like
Yeah.
these two worlds that kind of, don't see eye to eye all the time. But thank you for sharing that. That's really interesting. Wow.
No, thank you. I actually, it's weird because so I don't know if I told you, I had a uh kind of like I was hired to do a thing with at the time I didn't know, but it was a thing with Polaroid, and a game called My Life is Strange. I don't know if you've heard of it before, but
Oh, Life is
they,
Strange?
yeah, Life is Strange. Have you heard
Yeah.
of it before?
Yeah, that's my game right there. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a game. Loki, I have a code for the new one that's coming out. If you want to send it to you, but
Okay.
yeah, so it was I didn't know at the time that it was for. I kind of just applied to it, and it was kind of like, oh, you tell your life story, and at the time, like I said a lot of these things, but you know how like Polar is a big company. Like, shout out to Polar. I haven't actually watched the video. It's like a video of me telling kind of like my things and like there's life choices that I made similar to this, but go into detail. But like they cut a lot of that because it's just a 3 minute video and that's like 8 people telling their stories. So it's actually great that you asked me these questions that because like I wasn't able to kind of tell these things.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm proud of like my people and my friends. Like I'm proud of. There's so many names I could say. I started saying with Sarah, Julia, or like there's Prince. There's so many names because it's just like I'm very. I've realized that now. Um, I I don't want to be independent. Like at the end of like my movie, the rolling credits, I want to have all the names of people that kind of support me. I
Hmm.
want to have all them names there. I don't want to be like, oh, I did it all myself. I did it all. No, I don't want to do it all. This is hard life. And I also need people to understand like nothing you can ever do on your own. It's like even the modeling thing. It's like you may see one model, but no, there's a production, that producer, like there's a casting director, there's people doing the sound, there's people doing the lights, there's an assistant, there's so many moving pieces. It's like you may just see one model, but so there's so many moving pieces they create that entire thing that's presented to you. So even in modeling, it's like it's never true that you do it all on your own. And even as like people who are signed to agencies, those people in the agencies are the ones helping you. Those people who the brands going to the agencies are the ones helping you. So it's great that you're giving me a platform to be able to showcase the people that genuinely have helped me. And shout out to I want to give I don't know if my shout out, but
Hmm.
shout out to KP, shout out to Prey for introducing me to you because without them, again, like even half of the stuff modeling wise, I wouldn't be here. They've definitely been a big inspiration, kind of putting a battery in my back in terms
Yeah.
of like, yo, Andrew, you can do this, and the way they kind of thrive creatively, and the way we support each other, and kind of our beginning journey. They have been so helpful for my entire journey. I can never thank them enough, to be honest.
Right, definitely. Like you mentioned, a lot goes into it, a lot of support goes into it. It's all about timing and just working together, teamwork, and everything like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
so what other brands have you worked with, and feel free to share any other experiences you have as well.
yeah. So I've worked with Stussy. Um, Initially, I was actually gonna mention it because,
Hmm.
but so I just received this crazy junk email. Some beautiful girls 5 miles away. You know them ones. But Yeah, about with stuff initially, I was gonna say it because I don't know if I actually ever said this. Did I explain like the worst situation that I've ever been in modeling? That actually was, I wouldn't say it was with Stussy, but it was someone Stussy hired to shoot.
Oh,
So a
okay.
lot of times it's a trickle down effect. And those people, not, I'm gonna say everyone because a lot of people I met there were amazing people. Um, but one of the head owners of the agencies that Stussy hired to do the shoot didn't, in fact, pay me. But initially I was like, oh, F Stussy. But then I kind of learning more. It's like, oh, it wasn't their fault. They don't know. Like, they probably said, like, yo, go pay these models this much and we'll give you the budget. And they probably took it all to themselves and told Stussy, yeah, we paid them. But yeah, so Stussy, I did a shoot with them. It was weird because I'm kind of a little weird because, like I said, I'm very shy.
Mhm.
And a lot of times I do not be asking what the shoot is for. Like if someone just needs me for something, like just make sure you don't put me like crazy. I don't need to know like who it's for. Like I don't, it could be with Stussy or like my next door neighbor's new clothing brand. Like if it's obviously nowadays I'm definitely more selective, but yeah, with Stussy it was cool because like I go in and I'm like, wait, I'm looking at the tags. I'm like, wait, are we sure for Stussy today? And they asked me to put on skateboards. I'm like, I haven't skateboarded a day in my life, bro. They better not ask me to do no tricks, none of that. And the pieces was crazy. We shot in this kind of like, not abandoned building, but it looked like an abandoned building. And yeah, it was just a vibe because the models there were great, the photographers there were great. One of the agencies there was great. Shout out to Ollie. Um, and it goes back to the point where Ollie reached out to me because I did a shoot like I did a shoot with I forget who it was. I think it was Charlie and Tom. I did a shoot with them, and then afterwards they were like, "Oh, should we go get a drink?" I'm like, "Oh, sure. I'm in London like for the day, so let's go get a drink." And then what ended up happening is at the time there were those people. Have you ever seen those people who like climb frames on like big buildings, like
Yeah.
walk on the end?
Mhm.
They were those type of people. I had no idea at the time though. So they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go to this rooftop." I'm like, "Sure." I'm thinking it's like a nice rooftop bar, bougie, like London vibes. No, we okay. Allegedly, because I don't know if you're gonna see this. Um, allegedly, we then get into this like parking like space. We go to the top. The top is like locked, and the guy goes like, "Oh, I'll be back." He climbs the side of the parking garage, the car park, and then opens us from the outside, and then we then climb into the building next to it. It's like a building that's getting re-renovated. We get to that building. We go all the way to the top of that. Then in order to get to the edge, and I'll show you the pictures, we get to the edge, like we have to climb like this ladder, but the ladder was barricaded. So we're doing like, oh yeah, three, two, one, jump up. And I'm
Oh.
looking at them. This is not the rooftop that you was talking about. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, have you coming? I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm like, yo, I want to climb this, but I'm vertically declined. Like, I don't know how to climb this. And then they're like walking on the edge, but the views, if I can show you this, like, it's my tag. If you scroll down enough, it's like a blue kind of the views of London, and like I was kind of on the edge of like the building. When I tell you there's like a foot space, so like this is your foot. It's probably like this much space on each side. So you move a little bit over, you're off the edge. You feel me?
Mm.
Um, and like they're like, "Oh, you want to take some pictures?" I'm like, "Stand still." I'm like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna stand still. I'm not moving." Like I was shivering, timbering, like, um, and from that shoot, like it was just so random. They just did it off the fun. They don't do it anymore. Um, but from that shoot, someone reached out to one of the guys who took the picture and was like, "Oh, do you want to model for Stussy?" So that's why I always tell people, it's like, "Yo, you never know where opportunities can come from. Like, it can be from the most random places. Like, it can be from like you go to a restaurant, be nice to the waiter. The waiter may have an uncle, uncle may have a friend, friend may have a dog's babysitter. Then reach out to you. You never know where it comes from. So that's how it came about, and I'm very grateful for it. At the time, I didn't realize the magnitude of it because Like I haven't had slushy myself, but I obviously know it's a big brand. But looking back, I'm like, damn, I already did. Like I already won it for 3 months and did something with Stussy. Like it was very weird. But definitely grateful for it. And then the experience itself at the time was amazing. I wouldn't complain on that, regardless if I got paid or not. So I don't regret it.
Right, nice. Okay, so as I'm sure you know, Kojo, but fashion is not only like freedom of expression, but it's an art form, and it also brings people together as much it can also divide people away from each other. So let me ask you, why do you think clothing, styles, fashion in general, why do what we wear matters in society? Why is it important?
Um. Okay. So I recently had some thinking over it, and I got to an understanding that having style, I think, is important. But you don't need to be necessarily inclined in fashion. But I think having your own identity in terms of style, what you're wearing, and style doesn't mean like you're wearing the most new designer pieces, have the most intricate like layering in terms of outfit composition. It just means like being able to showcase who you are, and being comfortable. A lot of time people think it's like, oh, you gotta wear, the most high fashion pieces. And it's like, no, that's not style. That's just you wearing a piece of fashion. You know? But I think, like you said, like fashion is a form of an expression. And I think, like from like even if you like look at my room, color of my walls, the color of my bed sheets, the color of my phone, the shirt I'm wearing, the necklace I'm wearing, it's expressing who I am. You know what I mean? And that may be like, oh, like it's never that deep. A lot of people say it's never that deep, but I'm always on the contrary. It's like just because something's not that deep doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Just because something doesn't have this most grand purpose doesn't mean you shouldn't indulge in it. For example, like most of us shouldn't be indulging in fast food. Doesn't mean we don't do it. Like, I think it's not a bad thing to do things just because you want to do it. And yeah, the art form that fashion is it was an outlet for me because, um, like I said, I always wanted to create. Um, Never necessarily because I wanted to be a model, but I wanted to create, and as a result, I use my fashion and the modeling to be able to showcase. Like I don't have the resources to reach out to the most high end models at the time when it first started, so I just kind of use myself. Um, use different clothing pieces, different locations, different styles, in order to kind of showcase a specific snapshot of a story or capsule that I wanted to present. Um, and I would just say, um, it's don't ever compare. You can always grow, improve your style and your fashion, but it's still your style. It's not what your style like. What does your style mean in terms of like the legacy in terms of fashion? Um, it's your style, and a lot of the times we kind of misinterpret the importance of it because a lot of times, like a lot of people nowadays be like, "Oh, you shouldn't wear this. You shouldn't wear this." I'm like, on the contrary, back in the day, like for example, like you know how a few years ago it was like men should wear pink.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, when the color pink was invented, it was meant for only men to show dominance. It wasn't actually meant for women. Like if you look back in history books, that's what it was meant. Same with the thing of like, it wasn't women that were wearing heels because back in the day, women were usually, at home in the kitchen. They don't need to wear heels. It was the men who was going outside who were in those big means. They were wearing heels. Even the like the wigs, like people in court. So it's like things can shift between. So it's never a thing of like, oh, you have to box yourself in. I shouldn't do this because someone said I shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't do this because. And if you want to do something, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't let anyone force you not to do it. I say it goes either way because it's kind of like people are like, oh, you shouldn't do this, but it's like you sound exactly like those people who are telling you to not do something. So it's like, what, like it doesn't make any sense to me. So express it how you want. It's an extension of yourself. At the end of the day, like we can't walk around naked, so you have to wear clothes. Like that's it. So like wear the clothes that you want and how you want to express yourself. I mean,
Right, right. And I'm glad that you also mentioned colors, because I was going to ask you additionally, when it comes to fashion, what, why are colors important? when it comes to fashion, and what examples in your opinion do you feel like uh how colors can influence people what they wear?
In terms of my clothing, um, I'm not saying I don't get inspired by fashion or like high fashion things. I'm definitely not as an active member or like know everything about this. I need to know some people like know like everything that's going on this season. Um, but I'll say a lot of my inspiration in terms of things I wear. I know it sounds crazy 'cause I'm wearing all black right now, but I'm at home, so chill. But yeah, a lot of inspiration I get is from other people like walking around. Like it sometimes not them the specific pieces they're wearing, but how they're wearing and how like sometimes it's silhouettes, sometimes it's just the colors. Sometimes it may be like the colors in contrast to the specific background they're in right now. Maybe like a tree, like a bridge, like a building, like whatever it may be. So a lot of times it's like you people need to understand that like it's not black and white, it's not all because they're wearing type two t-shirt, now you need to wear type two t-shirt. No, like zoom out a little bit, encapsulate a little bit more of your perspective and kind of get inspired there. So I definitely say a lot of people, and it's actually very strange. A lot people would say my dressing is very feminine, but a lot of women have actually inspired me in terms of how I dress. There's this one girl, and her piece in terms of silhouettes, and like sometimes you feel like you know how people say like, oh, you shouldn't put navy and black together. I'm like,
Yeah.
put whatever color together like that you want. You know what I mean? Like if you put yourself in that box and not even like if I ask like, oh, why shouldn't you? Most people wouldn't give me an answer because oh, they just someone just told them that they shouldn't. But it's probably that person just didn't like navy and black together. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Um, so a lot of times, yeah, like it be it be like the surroundings that and the colorful surroundings that in turn then inspires me. And also inspires a lot of creative projects that I direct and kind of want to showcase. Um, some I haven't showcased yet because I'm kind of in my head right now. But yeah, it's definitely surroundings that inspire me quite a lot and what I wear.
That's so good that you say that because when we see people wear a certain color in their outfit, we subconsciously think about the surrounding about them, but we're not consciously thinking like, oh, look at their outfit and how it goes with where they're surrounded with. Like we don't we think about it, but we don't think about it. And
Yeah,
you think about like fashion shows or like the Met Gala when there's dresses and outfits and suits, and you look at the whatever type of carpet there is or whatever is surrounded by them. You think about, oh, the dress matches this, and like look at all the other people around them. It's like,
like yeah, it works perfectly with the stairs that is still like
right.
exactly. It's kind of thing of like what's the word? It's kind of a compound effect. I don't know if that's an actual term. Don't tell me, but it's compound effects where like one thing, if you add it to another thing, can it's kind of like if you times five by six, now there's 30 different possibilities. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense? It's not
Yeah.
just five or six possibilities. No, it's 30 new different possibilities.
Mm.
Now, then you add another factor C into it, times that by two, 60 new possibilities. So I kind of, and that's why I'm always like, yo, like, there's a lot of similarities between fashion and kind of science, and that's where kind of everything stems from. It's like, yo, you just change one aspect in a formula, for example, by like a fraction of a decimal, it can have a completely new effect on the outcome of the experiment. And
Mm-hmm.
that's at the end of the day, fashion is literally you experimenting with garments and pieces. So it's literally no different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. We should think of it more besides just the outfit itself, the surroundings, as far as like a painting with different things going on, or a mural. That's really cool. Okay.
Paintings too. That's another sign. Like a lot of museums, like at first I started going to art galleries because it was nice surroundings, but then I actually looked at the paintings. I'm like, oh, there's a fit there. Like, and sometimes it's definitely harder to explain than it sounds. It might be just like a crazy thing where it's like sometimes I like see something specific. I'm like, oh, no, look, this fabric, that line, that oh, I see a fit from them. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was actually this fabric where there was a because of like the way it's kind of like diamond shaped. I don't know if you can
Mm-hmm.
see. That's the reason why when I was cutting like my stuff to like fit my proportions better, one of the jumpers, like one of the sweaters I cut, I did it kind of asymmetrically, um, and that's one of my favorite jobs now. So um, again, like yeah, you just like to say it's painting, roundness, whatever it may be. Like you can inspire from anything, and like you should never hold yourself in, and like you'd be surprised. Like a lot of fashion designers get inspired from random things. I mean, like it may be a dish or food dish or it may be an experience. And, like people know this, but it's kind of like hard to grasp it. Whereas like people think musicians only get inspired from other pieces of music. It's like no, that music comes from an experience they had, maybe with a family member that may come from they were in the middle of Taiwan, for example, for a
Mm-hmm.
2 week trip and then they saw something, experienced something. Now they make a whole song out of it. It's like you're not gonna make that direct connection initially, but that's a lot of times where people get inspired from, especially designers get inspired. Don't just get inspired from other articles of clothing. That's very linear thought. They get inspired from whatever it may be. So yeah.
That's true. It's all about perspective. All right. Okay. So, what brands do you want to work with in the future, or what events or fashion shows do you want to be a part of in the future?
So what I'm trying to do at the moment, I'm trying to kind of shift it a little bit. I'm trying to be more selective and work with brands that kind of have that same like my boys Prince and Ryan's brand, that like integrity behind it, where it's like yo, you can tell that they believe in the pieces, and all the pieces may not be something you would exactly wear. They believe in kind of showcasing the way they do the campaign, the way they're trying to market it, or they're trying to like present the new collection. Um, so at the moment, the only brand I can think of off the top of my head is Maison Chateau Rouge. It's this French brand. It's actually a friend of Prince who came to the one of the pop-ups, and I met him, and I kind of checked his stuff out too, and he puts a lot of kind of African heritage diaspora into his like collections. Like he just did a collection with Lacoste, overhauled. Like you know, Lacoste is usually like the little crocodile polo. It's very simple, but he did a collab with Lacoste and kind of changed the entire image, like implementing his kind of ideas into it. And it's like now turned into a collection where it's like you would expect that from like a brand that would like go viral on like Instagram, like for how well they're being designed, not for like a very old brand like Lacoste. So even shout out to Lacoste for believing in him. Shout out to Yusuf. So that's definitely one brand. Maison Chateau Rouge. I don't know if I'm saying this right. Again, I don't speak no French. I'm trying my best. But yeah, that's one brand I want to work with. But I'll definitely say in terms of my career right now, and I've been doing it for a little bit, but obviously sometimes you gotta do things for the check. You know what I mean? Bills have to be paid.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, like I'm trying to be a little bit more selective. Like back in the day, I was just working with anyone, like to the point where it's like, yo, if you see me on this kind of like this t-shirt looks crazy, just know I did it for the bag. Like, don't judge. Bills have to be paid. People have to eat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be more specific, more intentional because, like for example, this year for the first time, I maybe not for the first time, but I put like I did a personal project which I haven't showcased yet, which is like I put a lot of like personal ideas and things that I've experienced in my life into kind of a shoot. Um, and I still haven't showcased it because even though like someone wouldn't be able to see like, oh, this is part 2A from Andrew's life. I know that's where it comes from, that like the trauma is stems from. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of hard to me to showcase that because then in turn it's me being vulnerable. Um, but definitely will showcase at some point. And then it's with a brother. Shout out to Tammy. Like when me and Tammy work, me and Tammy's dynamic duo. Like shout out to everyone else I've talked about. It sounds like everyone I'm talking about is dynamic duo, but the way me and Tammy work, like we work on such amazing stuff. And it's like dynamic duo. Like we have this connection where it's like I can say something, he can understand it. We can put the pen to the paper and be able to create it. And it's always a blast when I do anything with Tammy. And he's one of the most talented people, and I love working with him. But yeah, for the first time, I did something where I wanted to showcase the duality of man, where it's like, yo, things I've talked about, it's like, yo, things may be going downhill. And on the outside, people may seem like, oh, you just did that in Fashion Week. It's like, yeah, I just did it on Fashion Week. I'm also in the hospital right now. Um,
Mm.
so I did kind of a personal project on that. And I haven't, like, we did this. When did we do this? Back in June. Like, and I'm just kind of scared to kind of showcase, but we're going to showcase at some point because I think it's important for me for my next step in terms of like creative directing and like creating more um, higher quality projects with like more people involved, more production. And it's kind of a thing of like once you submit that first high production thing, it's like okay, then everything from that point they gotta match. You feel me? Or be better.
Right.
So I kind of scared of that a little bit, but I'm trying to tell myself like no, just do it. Just showcase. I think I'll try to showcase it in the next week, couple of weeks. I can't promise that, but I've shown you. But yeah, I'm scared to showcase that, but I'm excited for it too.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely excited to see what you definitely do in the future. But yeah,
Thank
just
you.
like you have already done, just keep networking and keep pushing yourself out there. And yeah, like I already see that you have the discipline, the determination. So you're gonna get there.
I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. But I hope like I said, I want to do this with everyone that supports me. Like for example,
Hmm.
you having the like having the willingness to just hear me out. Like I don't think anything I've done so far has been of note. Like I would definitely say I'm in level one stage of my career. Um, definitely I won't say I'm in level one stage on my creative path. I definitely say I've grown creatively, but in terms of like modeling and like that being career, like I'm at stage one. So the fact that you, for example, like believe in me and want to hear me out,
Hmm.
and I'm just, I think it's important that I'm a model, so for the most part, like it's people just see kind of the outside looking in. They
Hmm.
make their own kind of thoughts and things like that of me, but it's kind of a great thing that you're able to give me a platform to be able to kind of showcase and kind of share my stories and the people that have kind of helped me. And in addition, you're helping me, and I hope to like in the future come back to you when I have my creative agency and I'm one of the highest paying models on the
Hmm.
world. I don't even want to be a hybrid money because that means more publicity, which I do not want. But I want to be able to like give that back to you. It's like okay, like things we talked about and my goals, like I'm doing that now and I have kind of new conversations. So
Hmm.
thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you for supporting my vision. That's my goal. It's just it doesn't matter where you are in your career, what point you are. People come from different backgrounds, and I always say you can learn, you know, anything from anyone, regardless of what
Yeah,
what their status is or anything. I'm not about the whole pride and ego thing like, oh, you have this certain amount of followers, so I only want to talk to you. I'm not about that. I'm about, helping people, if I can. I know I'm still small myself, but if I can help put more eyes on people like upcoming talent, people who I see have a vision for where they want to go with their life, it's an honor for me to just learn from them and just have a regular old conversation like what we're having right now. Yeah, this is great. Thank you for also taking the time to be here as well. Um,
and
and
even I will say you are small at the moment, but voice is big. Like yeah, I can already tell you have like a specific gift and voice and be able to like you're the right person to be able to tell stories.
oh
A lot of
yeah.
times people are not great to tell stories, so I am actually glad that I'm able to showcase this my like story on your platform because
Yeah.
I'm definitely the best person for the job. And from what I've been told, like it sounds like your future is bright. To be honest,
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I know you talked about your fashion goals, but one of mine's I would say probably work with some more New York brands, fashion brands, and then my main goal, like if I had the opportunity to talk to the iconic fashion model Yasmeen Ghauri. I don't know if you heard of her, but she's from the 90s.
No.
And
Yasmin Glory. But
mm,
from the 90s artist, he's established stuff.
yeah. But you gotta check out some of her walks too. She was known for
I
like
definitely.
she was known for her walks and stuff. So one day, if I could talk to her, that would be amazing. Cause
Oh, that'd be.
she don't really do interviews like that. So
But if she does one with you, that means you know you legit.
yeah.
So never say never. You know what I mean?
All right,
Like,
yeah. All right, let's get to the good stuff. I want to talk about your
ah,
portfolio a bit. Um,
oh boy.
so so with every artist that comes onto this uh channel, I do like to talk about specific pieces of art I like made by them. So I want to go
Yeah.
over three of your photo shoots that I like, and
Okay.
if you could share the whole behind the scenes process and the story behind them, that would help a lot.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So my favorite one, with you having the Air Jordan ones, your legs in the air, look like you're about to
Ah,
super kick someone. You got the Playboy jacket, the Edie. I think it's the you have the
you trying to
Edie's.
say it?
You have the hat on, the
Yeah.
black jeans, and I'm sorry, but I don't know. I took a second look at this. Is that like gray sweatpants under your jeans that you're wearing in that photo?
It was cold. It was cold. We was out north. We was up north. It was cold. That's all I say.
Okay.
It's funny that picture, you know, like okay, mostly sometimes I'm modeling. Most time I'm modeling, like none of the pieces are yours, but it was that photo shoot we actually did after like the photo shoot that we were there to do. So it was for a brand called Elevation. Shout out Elevation. Shout out Nabil. Um, shout out Charlie as well. But yeah, the shoes, they were Nabil's. The jersey was my friend Drea's. Like I saw her a couple of days before, and I was like, "Wow, I love that jacket. Can I borrow it for a couple of days?" You know what I mean? We just ordered for the gun. That was Drea's. Shout out Drea's. That's like my sister, bro. Shout out, I love Drea. Um, the jeans, I think it was Charlie's. Charlie was the photographer for the elevation shoot, and then the jerseys they had was Princess, and Prince let me borrow it. But literally, was that week was so hectic. I just got back from Paris, went to a city called Leicester, then went to London, then went to Manchester to the elevation shoot. That's where that picture stems from. So I was so tired during that time. I was not sleeping. I was couch surfing like a mother. You know what I mean? But yeah, what went into that? It was just, you know what it was? Yeah, it was the thing of like, yo, I'm wearing all my boys' pieces. Like, let me showcase them. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the times, like, I love showcasing anything to do with my like friends or family or like creators that I love. So it was literally like I literally looked at myself like, yo, I'm wearing nothing that's me. Like these are the clothes I came with, and that's nothing that's me. And I love it. So I want to showcase that. Shout out Charlie Allen. Um, he's killing at the moment. He like, we were taking pictures in the studio, and then he was like, I don't know how he took that picture. I'm like, because like my leg was damn big. I'm like, it's like
Yeah,
up
all the way.
big. Yeah, I don't know how he took that. Like, I don't know like what the settings of the camera was, but it was so cold, and like a lot of times in studios, like they're in like these warehouses slash like garages where like there is no heating, bro. It was like 2 degrees Celsius. I don't know how much it's Fahrenheit. I think it's like -13. Don't quote me in that. But it's like very cold. So that's where I was doing the joggers underneath. Um, and I think I was even wearing a scarf. But yeah, it was literally like a quick one. It's like we did like, all right, let me get a flick real quick. Literally like it took less than 20 seconds. And yeah, that's where that picture kind of stems from.
Wow, that's definitely one of my favorites. Favorites. I like the detail, like from your body going all the way, like creeping up to your leg, to your
I
sneaker.
want to figure out how he took that picture because I'm like, this is like it's like kind of warped a little bit.
Yeah, warped. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, next I have to go with my second favorite, the black and white filtered photo shoot you did on the basketball court. And
Oh,
this is what I commented on your Instagram post. I said the black and white contrast during the night and day is cool, as well as the different angles used to give a different perspective of you being on the basketball court. Awesome.
oh yeah.
So what's the story behind this photo shoot? Because when I look at it, I could see it being like a Nike ad. That's the vibes it gives. Like I don't know.
Okay, okay, I see that. Okay, so I want to first and foremost. Okay, no way. How do I start? Because that's gonna sound. I was about to say something crazy. It's not crazy, but there is. Okay, let me just start. So again, shout out Charlie. Literally, my brother. Like a lot of these are like just Charlie. Shout out Charlie. Um, but he was like, "Oh, we should like go on a trip. Like we've been working a lot. And let's just go on a trip, right?" And at the time, he was in Bali for a little bit. Um, actually working on like his poster, like business. Um, and he was texting me from like Bali. It's like, yo, like, we should like go on a trip to Croatia at some point. I'm like, oh, no, I'm in Croatia. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I booked it. And what ended up happening was there was some problem with his PayPal. So he couldn't even get from Bali to like London to go to Croatia. So like last minute he had to cut out. So I ended up just going by myself. And I kind of stayed at this hostel and met these great people there, like from all walks of life. Like met people from America, met people from Poland, France, Armenia, like yeah, all walks of life. So like a little bit down was kind of a basketball court I saw while like kind of going like every time like I went out and I walked past this kind of like estate of projects. And then I keep seeing this basketball court. And the basketball is actually very vibrant. So that's probably where that kind of contrast comes from. Um, but I go to the basketball court. I didn't have a ball. But like I just hope someone's there playing ball. And there was actually these little kids, these little Croatian kids, and like they're like, "Oh yeah, Travis Scott." At the time, like caught my braids. They're like, "Oh, Travis Scott," and they're like talking to me. It's like, "Oh, you do this?" Like, they're talking about my. I'm like, "Yo, these little kids, bro, like they can hold my ear off." But they were like great kids. And then they all play football because most time in Europe, people play football. People don't play basketball, but it was big basketball court. Great cool. I'm like, yo, I wish I had this in the UK, bro. So then I was like, they were like, oh, can you teach basketball? Can you dunk? And I'm like, I cannot dunk, but I can teach you a ball. So then we're kind of playing ball. Um, and the guys were like, I, I, they were like, well, what do you do? I'm like, oh, like I do this. And that day, actually, I did it. I met someone, this photographer. Shout out to Julia. She's from Ukraine. And we did actually did a shoot with her. So I just showed these kids. I'm like, oh, I just did a shoot with this girl. It's like, oh, you're a model. Like, oh yeah. Like, I knew you looked like Travis Scott. It's a Rocky. I'm like, bruh, every black person is Travis Scott, bro. But like, there's some little Asian kids, so I let it slide. But yeah, and then like I was teaching them like literally from like the middle of the afternoon to like the sun went down. That's where you kind of see the contrast. I was teaching them, and it was just even raining at some point, but it was Croatia during summer. Croatia in summer is super hot. So, yeah, I was teaching them basketball. I was throwing out some stinkers, bro. Like, I was trying, like, why you shoot like this? Meanwhile, I'm breaking, like, I'm airballing. I mean, I'm like, you could do it better. And then we kind of play like a pickup game. And like during the day, just took like 5 pictures. And I'm like, I instantly, it was weird. Like, it's because I'm wearing kind of sleeveless top, like a black top, black pants, and like you kind of see the white outline. And it's I don't know what made me think to kind of cut all color out, but when I did it, and I was like, okay, let me increase the contrast. And I a lot. It's always got to take a lot of pictures. And shout out to Charlie, he actually he gifted me the camera at one time when I was in hospital. He's like, oh, you're usually on the other side of the camera. Now it's your time to take pictures. So then when I was in Croatia, I was kind of just taking pictures and wasn't that kind of creative flow state. And yeah, that picture was crazy. Like when I saw it, I was like, yo, the way the lines, the white lines in the building,
Mm-hmm.
caught my outfit, like my skin, it was like the whole like inverse effect. The picture, two pictures I picked was kind of like one was very like bright and like white, but still had a kind of black feel. The other one was very like everything's completely dark, but the white lines and like everything that was white popped even more at nighttime. And it's very weird. It's like kind of like this reflective thing. But yeah,
Mm,
that was a great trip, to be
it,
honest.
it almost looked like you was about to drop your new hip hop album. That with the cover, how it looks like front and back. That's the
Oh yeah, it does too.
yeah
For like those
yeah
what's explicit advisory, like
yeah
which could be
yeah.
at the bottom. Yeah, yeah. I've heard that. I've heard that. A lot of times, like that's how kind of my thought process kind of goes when kind of creating like I call them captions. So it's kind of like you can isolate those pictures and like it can be a album cover for like a specific hip hop artist, or like the next one could be like a more R&B contemporary artist. It's
Hmm.
kind of like every cover has like its own story. And that's how I kind of work with my post. I have posted less because again I'm trying to ramp up the quality, so the quantity is being less. But yeah, it's kind of a thing of like creating this capsule of like a story, almost like just like maybe like there's just a paragraph or like a couple sentences of a story in a picture where
Hmm.
location matters, angle matters, like the outfit matters, and everything, like we said, in turn like kind of works together and then creates kind of this cute little present in this. And I just love that. I actually love that. That's my favorite part of creating, to be honest.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, lastly, one of my favorites is a photo shoot you did in the laundromat. You're sitting in a chair reading a newspaper in a black and white filter. Also, it gives this retro and like modern vibe combined together. You got like that 60s, 70s outfit vibe going on, then you got the modern washing machines behind you. What was the concept or the meaning behind this? What was like the overall message from this photo? Like, what's this photo trying to convey? Where did this photo shoot take place? Just, go through it.
Okay, so this photo shoot, this was actually a photo shoot, um, which I got hired to do. Shout out to Sylvester. He's this great stylist out based in London, and he reached out to me. It was like, oh, by the way, like I've seen, I don't know how he found it. A lot of times, like I'll be forgetting, like Instagram, the internet is like you can find anyone, but I don't know how he found me, but he reached out to me through Instagram. He's like, oh, like, would you want to do the shoot sometime? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, sure. And it was for this glass company based out of Japan. Like they've been doing these glasses for like 80s or 60 plus years. Like and they traveled down to London to kind of wanted to find some models and kind of just like shoot it here. So we shot it in North London. I forget the specific area, but shout out to Sylvester, and the person that took the picture was Jack Blanco. He's a model himself, but he was the photographer that day. And I met some great guys. Shout out to like the whole team was just amazing. Like they had like had like specific. Like, they definitely like I forget how long they've been doing it for, but it had that olden feel. And it's like a glass company, so the glass I was wearing was their product, and they gave me this kind of like old feel. Yeah, we went to this laundromat. We did some couple of shoots like inside. How was this like a convenience store where it's like fruits outside. Like I'm sitting down, like I'm like one of the old guys reading a newspaper, and yeah, they wanted to kind of convey that same kind of vibe where it's like okay, very established, distinguished gentleman. Um, yeah, and it was very fun, very easy going to shoot, and yeah, I loved the picture because at the time like I used to wear glasses when I was younger,
Mm.
but I would like at some point I was like, oh, these make me look nerdy, bro. When I'm a teenager, I was like, I gotta take these off, bro. I was going blind for about 3 years straight. Um, but yeah, so when I put them on, I'm like, I don't know if they fit me, but like I got a lot of compliments and like they're incredibly sturdy, amazing glasses. And yeah, it was just like you said, it's like that laundromat, that very olden feel,
Mm-hmm.
and it was actually in color. But again, like I saw the vision where it's like the way I'm reading newspaper, the way I'm reading laundromat. It's a
Mm-hmm.
very vintage look. So I'm like, it gotta be black and white. I gotta show this is black. So
Right.
I did.
Okay, wow. That's really cool. Like just learning like what these photo shoots, cuz we could see the images and be like, "Oh yeah, this is cool," but like how did this actually start? And
Yeah,
I feel like the why to everything is really important. So,
I agree. I agree.
all right, let's transition to something a little different. I want to talk about
So,
as far as the fashion world, you being a fashion model. let's talk about like the workplace environment, like the mental health, the misconceptions about models. So, uh, in your own opinion, what are some misconceptions out there about fashion models, or many any misconceptions you heard?
Okay, I gotta find a way to word this correctly because people be canceling on it. But I'm not gonna say modeling is hard, but it's very, how would I say it? A big misconception is like, oh, you're only modeling because you're conventionally attractive. I mean, it's like no, like I said, it's like it's more a marketing thing than anything. And most of the time, like on the contrary, it's like if a person is more beautiful, that takes away a lot of time from the clothing. It's kind of a thing of like, how like people, how like McDonald's, for example, like the branding is, the M is yellow, but the
Mm-hmm.
background is red. Like, would you ever wear red and yellow in the same thing? No, it look kind of goofy. But the way that the M stands out, it stands out more with the red background. So it's kind of the thing of like a lot of times, like I'm not saying ugly, I hope not, but a lot of times people pick less attractive people because then it takes away less from the product you're trying to showcase. It's kind of a thing of if you have a bright red canvas, like you're not gonna be able to paint the best picture that you want. But if you have a white canvas, it's very monotone, nothing to showcase. It's kind of like a plain thing, very average.
Mm.
Um, that's able to showcase and market your pieces more effectively. So that's why I tell people like, yo, anyone can do this. And it's also like modeling is more of a skill set. Like a lot of times, me also having been around photographers and videographers, I understand just because you're pretty doesn't mean you can model. Um,
Mm.
because it's also a thing of like you gotta understand like body movement. You gotta understand how to do this. You gotta understand how to communicate. You gotta understand how to network. Network is the most important thing. It's like you don't really need to network in, you know, when just have a business where it's like maybe it's a very secluded people that you work with. Maybe it's a restaurant. You only work with people that your manager. So you don't need to network with every single person that comes in the room. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of trying. It's also uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty. A lot of time people think like because you're a model, you are the top of the runway. It's like no, like I'm just a starting out person. Where it's like I said, like, I will have to wake up very early in the morning, provide every single opportunity to me. Like, kind of thing of like, when you apply for a job, you have an interview. Imagine having to do that every single day. Um,
Right.
the new interview, like, because you have to reach out to them. Like, you can't work with most people every single day from Monday to Friday. So it's a lot of uncertainty behind it. And a lot of the times, it's weird because people reach out to you wanting to work and then kind of be like, oh, we don't need you anymore. I'm just kind of like, damn, like, it's a lot of rejection. Like, it's more rejection than you realize. So mentally, it's like, imagine um, someone asking you to like go on a date, for example, and then last minute be like, nah, I don't want to go. No explanation. That can be like that's a rejection. Is can be tough mentally. Even sometimes when you're like, oh, would you want to work? No, I don't want to work. That's very tough mentally. It's like a lot of rejection. And I have to build that resilience. But what I also want people to understand the flip side, the great thing about it is, and through this conversation, you probably understood this. Like, there's a lot of amazing people in this industry, and a lot of time people believe that this money is very hot cold. Like people are weirdos, and like there's weirdos. Don't get me wrong, but at the same times, like a lot of times, and the way I carry myself in relationships nowadays and friendships nowadays is through things that I've learned in the modeling industry, um, and like kind of take things that I've like grown from like through my experience in the modeling industry and the people that I've met. A lot of times, like the way people like kind of support me and like show love to me to the point where it's like, yo, I only met Andrew one time, but I'm talking about him in a room where he didn't even ask me to speak about him from to the point because I just wanted to succeed. I learned that in the modeling industry where it's like, yo, people just off the love want to see you succeed, and it's like it's not all like cutthroat me. Um, I definitely do think I'm very lucky, but at the same time, um, I do want to tell people that there's great hearted people in this industry, so don't be scared to like, take a leap and start this.
Okay, nice. What impact does modeling have on your mental and physical health? Like, well, I know you mentioned some of your struggles, or if you know anyone that has struggled with physical and mental issues while like being in the modeling industry.
Um, I definitely think I don't have the most intense struggles yet because I'm not too deep into it, and it's a lot of times a lot of people have been it's not very been strict with like people, oh, don't do like this, like keep this weight. These are also I'm a freelancer too, so I can accept what I want to accept. I don't have an agency telling me like, oh, I have to keep this weight. I can't eat this, or I'm like someone talking to me disgusting because I can just walk away from them. I don't need to interact with them. But I definitely, I'm lucky, definitely in the terms of like I haven't directly experienced, but from the people I have surrounded myself with and what they have experienced, um, there has been a lot of how would I explain it? People, it's that aspect of like understanding that your opportunities and the things that you don't get don't define you. Like they don't define like, oh damn, like I've been getting opportunities this past month, so now like I'm a nobody or like I'm a piece of filth because like people don't want me, people don't want to book me. Um, that's a lot of struggles that people I've heard face with, and also like it's not consistent like that. Having anything that's unstable and uncertain does like it plagues your mental health, and that's with anything, but especially in modeling, like, things are not certain. Things can change last minute. Like people can change last minute. People can change ideas. One experience that really told me like, okay, the uncertainty of it is one time I helped assisting a runway show for this Berlin brand, and I won't name them because what occurred is they like runway shows take months and months and weeks of preparation.
Mm-hmm.
So you for the most part know your models months and months ahead. And this one Belgian designer, what he did was on the day of the shoot, like an hour and a half before, told like three girls I was helping like get ready. He was like, "Oh, you go home. I don't want you. You go home. I don't want you. You don't fit my vision." Like, yeah, okay, fair, you don't fit your vision, but you should know that weeks before because like these girls have been, like being disciplined, being in the gym, like traveled. One girl traveled from London, from Brazil to London, just for this runway shoot. And then he was like, "Yeah, you're not walking." That's like, damn, it's like you can't really treat people like that. Um, and like some girls were crying, and then eventually he was like to me, he's like, "Oh, um, you get in outfit 3A," and I was like, what? So then he got trying to get an outfit, and I was getting like prepared. They were rushing my makeups. It's like again, it's like there's a lot of moving pieces. Like you gotta understand that some people they just have no regard for people's time and like their energy. Um, so many moving pieces like hair and makeup. People coming to do your hair, people trying to do makeup, people doing the lighting, and then you just telling people go home like last minute. It's kind of messed up with no like monetary pay for it. And then even last minute, he told me like, "Oh, by the way, we don't need you." And afterwards, he kind of came up to me and was like, "Well, how you feel about the show?" And I'm like, I told him straight, like, I didn't really respect how you kind of went about it. I understand like your vision as an artist, but you should be sure of that vision before the day. So I kind of would say like a lot of struggles is not losing yourself and like not letting people treat you horribly. And that way, you understand like what you deserve and how much value you have. You can a lot of times lose your value because of all the rejection you
Mm-hmm.
face on a regular basis.
That's great that you said because that led me to my next question. Like, how healthy? I know you said you had good experiences as well, but how healthy
Yeah.
is the modeling workplace in your opinion? And how are female models treated in the workplace compared to males? Is there any unhealthy objectification happening? And I know you kind of tapped on that a little bit.
I would definitely say from what I've seen, on average, people have definitely treat female models a little bit worse than male models. Definitely, obviously, I don't live in that specific experience, but from what my female friends and female models have told me, um, for the most part, it's still good. But it's also depending on who you surround yourself with, and a lot of time, people think they can treat people quite extensively, like horribly, and it's very weird because it's like I just don't understand it because like you should just if you respect someone and you respect what you find them here to do and they respect you, it's just so much easier all around for everybody, you know what I mean? If one person is now like an asshole to somebody, then it's like the next person then can't work great, then the lighting manager, the people doing the sound, they may be in a mood, you feel me, then the whole street kind of falls down. So I would definitely say that like from what I've seen, it's like a lot of times, not a lot of times, sometimes they they don't regard female models' feeling and like understand like, this is a very fragile workplace to begin with, so you can't then treat someone so disrespectfully. But some people just have that pride and ego, and it's like you. That's why I kind of want to change the industry, not change the industry, but when I in turn then when I make my own creative industry, I then don't want to be an agency where um I like take advantage of people or like I talk down to people. I just want to make sure everyone gets the opportunities. I don't care about making the most money. Like I just care that everyone gets the opportunities where they get it.
Hmm. And I don't know if you're able to go to details if it's too personal, but do you kind of know maybe the kinds of objectification that some of the women the models have been through, or is that too personal?
Um, a lot of times is you it goes. I would say it's personal for me, but a lot of times that the objectification people go to is like they treat female models as like mannequins almost, like like literally objects, to the point where it's like no, like you can't just tell someone to be uncomfortable so that you can get your creative vision off. No, that doesn't work that way. You gotta respect it. Um, One instance, what I would say is, a designer was kind of fiddling with the outfit one of my female models was wearing, kind of masking it as like, oh, I'm just adjusting it so it's perfect. But it's like, no, you're trying to get something off.
Hmm.
And luckily, someone on the production team said it. Um, and then he was kind of like, okay, here, like, I'll relax a little bit. He didn't, but like the fact that he thought it was okay to do so was kind of weird, anyways.
Yeah, yeah. I do feel like in different industries, women do go through objectification, being around the wrong people, but always having a good support system, people that can look out
I
for
agree.
you. That's very important. Just having those boundaries, like we mentioned before, like you know yourself. You don't tolerate certain things, and you speak up for yourself as much as you can. Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, so uh, let me ask about ageism in the modeling world. Uh, some people may think like, oh, the younger you are, the better, I don't know, fit or maybe looking. You might fit the picture better if you're younger, and
Yeah.
like when it comes to age, it's always like, oh, younger is better than older. How I mean, have you seen any of that any like ageism in modeling, or is everyone kind of open to no matter what age you are, you can do it, you can go out there and do amazing?
I would definitely say it definitely varies from um subcategory like modeling wise. Like if it's
Okay.
commercial, runway, probably what people refer to is the runway aspect, which like yeah, you have a small window. And runway is runway can be very strict, but um people actually there's a big misconception that runway pays the most because like that's the thing you see like you see Gucci runway full collection. But a lot of times it's like it'd be the commercial things where it's like um people don't understand that. It's like that's where the most money comes from. Like a lot of time, the money that is made in those runway things, like the high ups kind of like hold all of it. I'm not saying no one makes no money,
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of ageism, I would say that that's probably a lot present there. I'm not too sure like how much it is. 'Cause, I'm not really too deep into the runway kind of scene at the moment, even if I have done one. But in terms of, I would say like people who are scared, like, oh, like, yeah, the younger you are, the more perfect it is. It's like I say on the contrary, because again, it goes to the thing of marketing. It's like, well, if you're marketing a chair for, that, like a chair that goes up the stairs, like with your like older, or like if you live in a nursing home, you can't have a young 15-year-old like modeling that for you. No, you gotta have grandpa. So like a lot of times you get, if you see those opportunities, like opportunities are like sometimes can be age specific, but a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times not. And it's like people disregard, like, again, it's like they think modeling is just runway, but it's like if you open YouTube now, for example, watch a video, you'll get an ad. You might get an ad for an insurance company. It'll be a regular family member, like they may be 20-year-old, 4-year-old, 6-year-old, a regular mom that you may not deem as like she's a model, but like she is modeling in the video, like, but you're not registering that kind of
Mm-hmm.
sense. So I would say to people who get kind of discouraged with the fact that the runway may be very ageist, or like um, even weightist or heightist, which is true. I'm not saying that's not a thing. Where like in runways, like, they want people on the taller side. It's like, well, most of the times when you shop for stuff, like if you shop for clothes online, um, it's just regular people like that. Maybe like 5'4", 5'3" if you're a girl, for example, or like 5'10" if you're a guy. They don't need to be 6'2" to 6'5", like it says in
Mm-hmm.
one way. And same with ageism, it doesn't need to be like old people still need to buy clothes too. So like
Yeah.
I always tell people like you can find your avenue if you look hard enough. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like nowadays, it definitely started back in history like that, but nowadays it's definitely more accepting than it was in terms of weight, age, even skin color. Um, a lot of times, like you'd be surprised, like you'd be like, oh, like, only models that are the most, live in the most, high class fashion spaces can model. It's like no,
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes they'll find someone off the street, sometimes they'll find someone from the boonies in Kenya and give them an opportunity. You know what I mean? Like anyone can really do it. Now, like you also gotta understand that there are specific visions that specific brands or specific designers or producers have for each individual like capturing campaign.
Right.
And you kind of just have to accept that. Like sometimes when I look up, it's like, oh, I look at this opportunity, like, oh, this is great. But then like, oh, we want someone who is this, like he's ethnically ambiguous. He's from the Pacific. Like you can't be upset at that because like some opportunities are for you, some opportunities are not for you. You kind of just have to accept that.
Yeah, there's definitely something for everyone out there, and like you mentioned, there is a bigger demographic and market for people could choose their pathway now. It's not as limited because social media and the digital era, we have more opportunities. So yeah, definitely.
Like for example, like I literally have a fan here, and it's literally a random baby, bro. It's not like next top model. And if you look on the side, a random lady, like she's not the most. She's probably pretty, yeah, but she's not Victoria's Secret model. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
but this marketing and this is modeling. She's getting paid. Baby's getting paid. People need to understand that's like there's more to it than just like the high end fashion thing. Like there's more to modeling than that.
that's true, definitely. Okay. So I mentioned earlier in our conversation that fashion brings people together, but it could also help divide people. So, in what
Yeah.
circumstance do you think that you would find someone unattractive based on what they're wearing?
Um, I wouldn't say I would find someone unattractive. I may say the fit kind of trash, but I would never say I would, find them unattractive because of what they're wearing. It may be something that I may not recognize myself. Um, that I'm doing, like internalizing, where it's like, okay, I'm not attracted to them because of the clothes, but I've never noticed specifically. I don't really care too much. Like I've never been the type like, oh, like my girl gotta wear this. She gotta be this type of girl. Like she's wearing these type of shoes, these type of pants. Like, I've never really cared. Like if you look good, you look good, and that's with anything, bro. Clothes, things like that. But and also like what modeling has shown me is like you can be put in different clothes and have a different effect. You know what I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
models are canvases, so a lot of times we actually care less about the clothes than people who like don't model, for example. Um, so I've kind of learned through that. Like I was like, clothes is just clothes. Like I can be put in different clothes. Like people have seen me in a fit that I would wear myself because I've modeled. It's like you can't really judge me on it because again I did it for the bag, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really define who I am. So you can't really look at me and judge me any less.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The reason why I asked that too is because, like here in America, we just had the we finished with the elections and stuff, and like when people
Yeah.
wear certain politicians, merchandise, they get judged for wearing whatever because someone's against that politician. Some
Okay.
people, some people may judge women if they're wearing something very revealing. They might think of them a certain
Okay.
way. So I
Okay.
guess that's where I was
I
trying
would
to
say,
aim that towards. Yeah.
yeah, I would say in that regard, for me, um, I mean, I may like some clothes, may not like some clothes. Like, for example, like, shout out to my friend Cora. Like, I dislike miniskirts. Okay, this gonna come crazy. Um, but like I like long skirts, but like not necessarily because like oh like she's this type of person because you're wearing long skirts. Like no, just the article of clothing. I just like it's meant to me. Like I just like mayonnaise. You know what I mean, it's just meant to me. Like I'm
Hmm.
not gonna look at someone who eats mayo as crazy. In terms of the thing with the politicians, it's like I think it's how you it's less how what you're wearing but how you treat someone, you know what I mean,
Hmm.
like for example, like it's a lot of times people just be like, oh, if you have different difference in like opinions or like political beliefs, then we can't be friends. And I'm like, everyone is different in their own regard, whether it's political beliefs, what people believe morally, what people believe like morally in subsection 2B when it turns into relationships or friendships or family. Like there's always going to be a difference. Obviously, some people's like some moral like views and opinions may conflict with yours, which you believe in to a regard where it's like, okay, it's not going to work out. But in terms of people wearing something different and um, treating people differently in terms of like the political views or like the moral views or like how they feel comfortable what they're wearing. I would just say you can like for example like it's always it's always how would I say like you may say for example like let's say I'm wearing something and someone may say like oh I really like your outfit for example, right? I may wear that same outfit, come home, see my dad, and he'd be like, you're looking like a thug today, bro. And I'm like, it's the same fit. Does that mean like I'm a different person? Like I'm a thug or like I'm a good, upstanding citizen? You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You can have a difference between like you can dislike what someone's wearing, um, but I think trying to change them for it, or like you can like express your opinions, like it's a free world. Um, but trying to change them for it and kind of judge them for it. It's like, what should they be judging you because you eat McDonald's twice a week?
Hmm.
No, like if you were put in that terms, like it sounds stupid. It's like you can still believe like you dislike what a girl is wearing, or dislike what a boy is wearing, but like devaluing them as a human being as a result, then you're just as bad as the clothes you're trying to make out to be.
Right. Yeah. To add to that, many young people get bullied for not wearing like trendy clothing or wearing maybe fake off-brand or no-name brand type of clothing. Like the fake Louis, the fake Gucci, and all that. Why do you think this happens? Like with among the young generation, and do you think it can be prevented?
Um, I don't think the act of it can be prevented, but I think what it boils down to is how much you care about someone's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's it definitely I have definitely seen. I'm going to say no, it's not a thing, but what I would say it boils down to is it's like your expression isn't any better than someone else's or worse. Um, so how you express yourself, or if you choose not to express yourself, again, you're not any worse or better than the next person. Like, for example, like a lot of people, um, on the contrary, it's like if something exists and it exists on the contrary, it's like wherever you fall on that range, it doesn't actually matter. Like you can be the person who wears designer and feel like, oh, I'm better than you, but there's also the completely other end of people who are like, oh, I don't wear any designer, so the fact that I'm wearing non-designer, I am also better than you. To me, those are the same people. Like I don't look at them as different people. I don't look at them as like, oh, he's a designer head. No, like you're the same people who judge someone of what they're wearing. Like even if you have conflicting or like contrasting ideologies, it's like no, to me, you're the same person. Like you're judging someone of what they're not wearing because you think you're better than them. And it's like, no, that's your style. And it goes both down to the thing of like fashion with style. Fashion and style is not the same thing. Like your style is your own personal thing. It's just like it doesn't matter like what it is you're wearing. It should be yours. And fashion is something you see, a garment, a piece you see as like a trend you see is like, oh, this is this kind of streetwear. This is fashion. But just because you wear streetwear doesn't mean that's your style. Your specific style is the clothes that you have in your closet, how you put them on, in the layer you put them on, why you put them on, why you like them. Like, it's going to be different to the next person, even if you're wearing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, I'll tell people it's like your individual style is what should matter. Other people's style has nothing to do with you. Like it never has anything to do with you. Um, so let people wear what they wear, and it's also like if you want to be on a hate train, it's like surely it's better that other people dress badly because that means you look better. So like, why are you complaining? Like, just keep it pushing. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. I would say that myself. Like, I'm more of like that type of like boutique thrift shopper type. I like kind of rare stuff that no one has, like stuff that's
yeah,
made in good quality, like unique stuff. That's my type of
and
style.
like I said, that's your style. But imagine like you're telling me like, oh, you have to wear that same boutique, like fresh. Like, no, that'll just be like the most craziest thing. Like, no, your style is yours. Like, if you tell other people to wear the exact same thing, how you wearing it, then you wouldn't have your own personal style because everyone would be wearing the same thing, wouldn't it?
Right. True. Yeah. And I think a part of that, like in school settings, that's kind of part of the plays onto the immaturity of the students, because like they just want to follow trends, and so yeah. So what advice do you have for people who have a very low budget and can't really afford clothing like that, but they do want to kind of stand out and be confident in their own way? What do you suggest? Because I know you mentioned you had financial struggles in the past as well.
Okay, so I'm like, when finding your style, you do have to experiment. I'm not gonna sit and be like, oh, yeah, just you have to experiment. Because you gotta find yourself. You gotta find what doesn't work and what works, and what doesn't work, you gotta put that into your head. And what does work, it doesn't just work straight away. You gotta build on it. You know what I mean? Um, where so, but definitely don't think you have to. The trend thing is weird because I'm in two places with this. Like, you shouldn't follow trends religiously, because then again, you don't find your passion style. You're just kind of wearing fashion pieces. But at the same time, you can find a lot of pieces through trends. Like, oh, like, I like that bit, but like you don't have to religiously stick by them. You religiously stick by the trends because trends will come and go. But like, if you see something you like in a trend from 2016 and you like that, pick that part apart. And you may see something from a trend you like in 2020, but that may not be part of the trend you saw in 2016. You can still pick apart those pieces. So I would say for people who kind of are struggling with finding their own style, number one, do your research. Like, we are on the internet. infinite research. Like there's like no excuse in terms like anyone that's seeing this right now is on the internet. So either you're seeing this on a TV screen, or some whatever it may be. Um, you can do your research and you can see people like you who are similar in terms of build, maybe raise, maybe like things that you like or like you like expressed, and see how they kind of put things together, and then try it for yourself. Now, again, don't religiously just stick by exactly what they do because you're not the same person as them. But in terms of outlets of where you can like do get stuff from, if you're not into the specific first scene, there's also a lot of sample sales. Like, and like a lot of times, you just wait. Like, I don't think you guys like a lot of times things that might like plus like I'll wait months for before they go on sale, before they reduce, and sometimes I'll take losses. Like sometimes it's kind of like the thing of investing. It's like you invest and wait on like a stock, for example, and like it may dump while you're waiting it to increase, which is fine. Sometimes you gotta take your losses, but sales increase, sample sales. So these sample sales I've actually figured out recently is like a lot of brands and companies do sample sales where they will give stuff like, let me see if I can find this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like I know you got okay. Some people gonna see your shoes and be like, "What the heck are these?" Again, that's my personal style. Keep your business to your business. But like these shoes, for example, they're loafers. I'm like they make me look like 6'3", which I love. But that's my and I just wanted some loafers. They, for the most part, wear like £40. My sister sent me a sample sale for the brand ASOS, and I literally saw them after months of looking at them for £5.
Wow.
A lot of things on the sample sale website do sell like quickly, but if you follow them and like know when they're gonna drop, when you sign up for them, like you can find a lot of stuff for dirt cheap. It's like fashion's not going, clothes are not going anywhere, so you don't have to in like quickly. It's like finding your style and finding like a very established style. It's not overnight. So like you're trying to buy something next day delivery to complete your entire new look and style. It's never gonna happen. So I would definitely say just wait, mark the pieces. For example, like in my phone, I have this list called capitalism wish list of things I really like in terms of fashion pieces, maybe creative pieces, whatever it may be, that I've had on my wish list from this beginning of this year to the end of this year, and it's literally like 8 pieces, and I think I've completed 7 pieces of it, but I've literally been waiting and waiting and waiting. Sometimes things have been sold out, and then I've my damn, I really really wanted that piece, and that's how you know when something's like come and gone, and you still want it. That's how you know that's your style. So then you investing in it, it's not a bad thing because then you know you're gonna keep that with you for like years to come. For example, this cardigan which I bought, um, which I wanted to buy like back in March, it was sold out on the website. And I'm like, damn. Literally 8 months later, I saw a Depop. And I was like, I found it finally. Literally messaged the girl. I was like, I would love this. Can you reserve it for me? I got it, and literally, so a lot of times sample sales. Literally whatever brands you like, if you like the look of, type in their name into Google, sample sale, wait for the sample sales to come around, and then yeah, literally you get like 80% off of your stuff.
And there you go, guys. Fashion affordable tips from Kojo. That'll definitely, hopefully, that helps someone out there. But Kojo, before we get to you sharing your exclusive photos, I want to get to some conclusion questions.
Yeah.
Um, and I wanted to ask: Is you? I've seen you play the guitar. Do you still play the guitar?
Okay, so shout out to my mom because guitar was the first piece of creative thing I've ever indulged in. So yes, I still play guitar. I don't know if you can
Okay,
see her in the back.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to do it. It's impromptu, but if you wanted to play,
impromptu.
if you wanted to play a little
Okay. You put
something,
me on spot. Spot.
it doesn't have to be
Um,
perfect. It's just you got to
if
see
it's tuned, because I'm actually been collecting a lot of dust because again I was in London,
it.
getting the bag. So she might be a little out of tune. Let me
Okay.
just. She's a little out of tune. Yeah, she's a little out of tune. But you know what it is?
Mhm.
When it comes to this, the music stuff again was the first creative avenue that I kind of indulged in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know why. As a result, like I don't showcase it that much. Like how easily I do the fashion and modeling. Like a lot of times, like my bros be like, "Oh yeah, like send me like a loop or like a guitar loop." Of course, I'm like, "This is my baby." Because a lot of times, how this, especially this one here, um, it's a mental outlet. So like when I'm down mentally, I'll just be in here going crazy. Like I'll just go crazy in my room. And it's kind of like a personal mental outlet. So like a lot of people are like, "Oh, why don't you do music?" It's like I don't know. It's like a lot of things you kind of have to do for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'm definitely very nervous, so
Mhm.
I'm gonna just ruin it. But
Yep.
yeah, I do play music. I've got two guitars. One she's electric acoustic, and I've got full electric one, and then I play a little bit of piano. Um, and then growing up, you be in church, you learn how to play the drums just because the drummer hasn't come in yet. And so they ask some random kid at the back, which is me, go play some drums. I'm like, okay. So
Yeah.
yeah.
A little bit of the sound cut out on that, but that's okay. It's
Oh, sorry, my fault.
it's all right. It's just the audio. Okay, but yeah, let's the conclusion questions. So, what do you want people to take away from your photos, from you being a fashion model? Who's the audience you're trying to attract when it comes to your brand, you as a person and as a model?
Um, as a model, I am trying. I'm actually a person actually too. I am trying to attract more like-minded individuals that care to push each other's creative journeys as far as we can push each other to. That's definitely where I want to like end up my entire career. Um, just keep pushing those that believe in me, and those that believe in me, like keep pushing me, and those that I believe in, push them. That's definitely where I want to end up. And I guess I kind of want to showcase and like tell the people out there is that it wasn't. People may seem like I am lucky. It's like, oh yeah, you got scouted, but it's like it wasn't like an actual scout. Like, it was just a photographer. Um, and then we literally just took pictures and like nothing came from months. But what I would want to say is that like what I've learned is there's some beautiful people out there, and like don't ever be scared to just be yourself because your people will find you, and you'll find your people, and also like anyone can do this. Like I said, like, weight, age, this, that, that, whatever people have to say, if you try your best and give it your all. And also like just don't be scared to reach out to people. Like it's also helped me learn a lot of interpersonal skills that I carry on in my like relationships and friendships and connections and like in my workplace where I just I understand how I can reach out to people um, and not be scared to tell my feelings. So there's a lot of things you can learn that you may not realize on face value, but definitely it's a journey. It's not as on a plate as you may think, but it's definitely worthwhile in terms of the people I've met and the experiences I've had from it that I know I would have never gained going straight into kind of my chemistry avenue from it because I would have been stuck in a lab. I wouldn't have gone to Paris. I wouldn't have gone to Oslo. I wouldn't have gone to London Fashion Week. I would have kind of been in the same bubble as people. So I've definitely been blessed in the people that I've met, and you can meet some people of all walks of life from it.
Well, well, that's amazing, Kojo, and I'm glad you said it because you already answered my what was going to be my next question. Is like, what advice?
Oh, I did.
No, that's
But
great.
for
That's how I know like the questions that I'm putting together are all
no,
like
they're really good questions. I'm going to tell you at the end, but like these are amazing questions because like
yeah.
they're worded in a way where it's like it just kind of comes out of me like you're perfect. And it's like oh, it's the next. It's kind
Yeah,
of like
it's
a
like a
I
chapter,
don't know.
like yeah, yeah. That's how it it comes together. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of people out there that do lack confidence in their looks. They don't feel they're attractive enough. They don't really know how to necessarily network because they feel like oh, why would someone care about me? But like you mentioned, you know, putting yourself out there and just being like, hey, you know, I may not have this amount of knowledge or experience, but it would be awesome if, you know, we can kind of work together and, you know, just put yourself out there and try. You never know what you're going to get, you know?
And also like think about it like this like when we first start school, for example, we don't know anything at all. Like it doesn't matter what class. Like you may be smart, some people, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
every single day you're learning something new. It's like it's not any different out here. It's like you can reach out to people. Some people are just willing to just help you learn things. It's like, for example, like yesterday I did a studio shoot with shout out to Hannah and her husband Canute, and they're amazing photographers and videographers, and they were doing something with Sony, um, where Sony sent them a bunch of like cameras in for to do like a studio shoot. And I told them straight up, like for the most part, I don't do a lot of studio sessions. Like a lot of the modeling I do is like outside, like in different locations, etc., etc. So I told him myself like I was very nervous, and like I'm here to like just absorb and learn. Like even me, like having done this for like a year and a half, going to 2 years, it's like there's still that I want to learn. It's like how I started. This is like by learning. So don't be scared to reach out. And but also understand that like not every person's for you. Not every person is like going to be on your journey the whole time. Some people may be there for one shoot, but absorb everything you can from that and learn anything you can from it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I'm glad you said that as well. Okay, let's transition. Kojo, I know you were okay with sharing some of your exclusive photos
Yep.
that you mentioned. So if you're ready to go into that and share that, you can. Let's just go with okay. The first picture here is you in a denim jacket, and you
Yeah.
got the like the cargo pants going on, slacks, with the you sitting in a I believe it's like is that like leather black chair?
Yeah, like a level black chair.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Okay, what's the story behind
was
that one?
okay. So that was a shoot. Did I do that this year? You know when you get time of mixed up.
Yeah.
So earlier this year. I think it was early this year. I think most of no, one of them was like last year. But yeah, this one was early this year. It was for shoe brand. It was a good friend and business partner of mine. Shout out to Thomas Russell. Um, and yeah, he invited me out to London, and it was it was a time where we was kind of experimenting with a lot of new equipment and like cameras and like angles and things like that. That like he has his portfolio of like how he does things and showcase those two brands. And as well, we got this brand on board, this shoe brand, who has like this crystal embedded inside the sole. I don't know how they make that in production, but shout out to them. But yeah, it was I wanted to showcase that one specifically because it kind of was a turning point for me and Tom. That specific shoot, where we kind of understood like, yo, we have an amazing skill set. And it's a lot of time, some of these shoots, it's not specifically, it's always sometimes about like how it's presented and like the grandness of the shoot itself. But this one specifically is kind of like what kind of went um behind the scenes. And that's why I want to showcase them. It's kind of weird because like I'll go on a quick detour. The first picture on my Instagram is actually that specific moment where Charlie came up to me in barbecue. And literally, I took that picture. He came up to me. There's actually a whole video of me like recording. There's like a screenshot of it where it's like, oh, you want to take pictures? Um, and specifically this photo shoot as well. It's like it was a moment where we had a kind of conversation like, yo, we need to elevate our skill set and keep growing not get complacent, and we like had a full on conversation. It's like, yo, the brands we work with, how we work with them, like how we showcase with them. It's like that was kind of an infraction point at that point. And I really love that shoot because like we work with a lot of different like angles and things that we had never worked with before. Um, so it was a lot of new territory for us. But it was kind of a thing of like understanding that just because something's new doesn't mean you should be scared of it. So that's something I'm very proud of, and I'm glad I did that shoot with him.
Okay, nice, awesome. So the second one that we have here is you have it's like a side profile, and you got like the beads going on. You got the pearl
Yeah.
necklace. What's all that about? What?
So that one has a lot of different avenues behind it. Like for example, that was one of the first shoots that I like showcased to my peoples. Shout out to SB Bros. Um, KP actually did a rendition and he drew me based on that picture for a song that we made together. It was called Bounds, and we used that as a cover. He like made it into uh like turned that specific picture into like a Boondocks version, and I love that picture. But that picture specifically was actually made by Sarah Mensa. It's weird how like everyone kind of interconnects in my head and like in my life, but they have no idea that this is going on. So shout out to Sarah. Going back to Sarah, she took this picture. This was one of the first times where it was that raw stage where I was going back and forth from my university to London, and one time Sarah and actually Tammy too, and he's actually another person who took another pictures that we will talk about in a second. But Sarah took that picture, and that was the first time I'm like, hold on, look good. You know what I mean, like the bees, the braids, I had no trim because again, I had no money. I took
Mhm.
all the money out, like um, I'm the coach there. But yeah, shout out to Sarah. She took that picture. And that was the first time she was like, yo, like, look at your star profile. Look at you. Look at the way you're looking. Like, believe in yourself. It's like, that was actually my profile picture for a long time. And it was so weird because I actually never asked for this picture specifically. She was just editing them and sent me that screenshot. I was like, yo, like, look at you. You have something special going on. And that's the first time I was like, okay, maybe she talking about something. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
let me look in a little bit. But yeah, shout out to Sarah. Like Sarah Mentor, she's incredible. It was a very like we did it. It was actually the middle of December. It was so cold. I had a whole vest on outside by a lake. It was so cold. But for the shoot, for the flick, anything's possible. So, and it was actually the first time I met my other long time now creative business partner, friend, and brother, Tamu. And we'll get into one of the other pictures later. But I actually love that picture. I need to actually ask if she has that picture because that's something that should go on my portfolio, but it's just a screenshot on like Photoshop. So it's not really that professional.
Nice, awesome. So this next photo here is like we kind of get like this worm eye, like this worm eyes view of you, like looking up at you, and it's in black and
Yeah.
white. So what was behind that?
So the black and white one, that's from the same shoot with Sarah. And that's for the first time when I realized the power of like taking away color and like the power that color has in terms of editing. And like you said, for example, a lot of pictures even that you've seen on my profile that you like, it's like yours, like a black and white one, which like taking color away, it's weird. Like even though you take something away, it can add so much more to the picture. I was used to like mess a bit with lighting, shadows, and things like that. But taking the like whole color out can make a picture so much brighter, which is sounds like the most stupidest thing ever. But to me, it makes sense. So that's one picture, and it was on the same shoot as the previous one. But yeah, Sarah took that one, and yeah, it's just like it's a very effective and like very powerful picture, I would say. The way I'm like, kind of looking out, and again, it was just a great day because I got to work with Sarah again and got to meet Tamu. So I just love that picture.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, those black and white filters always make me think for some reason. I feel like, like, so,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, let's talk about the next one here. Where this is where you do your walk. Um,
Yeah.
so go ahead, Kojo. Explain.
Oh, okay. So, like I said, I did not tell her singles. Okay, no, that's a lie. I told one person, I think her name was Clara, that I was doing this London Fashion Week because she came from Paris to visit London for like a couple of days, and I met up with her, and I was like, I gotta tell someone because I need some advice. Like I gotta tell someone. So I told her, shout out to Clara. She's literally the most bubbly, energetic person of all, man. Um, and then she just gave me a lot of advice. Like, just like you got this. And the same with like everyone there. Shout out Julia, shout out Sophie, shout out Vasiliki, shout out Lord, shout out Jamal, shout out Delilah, shout out the designer Average George. Like everyone was kind of giving me the sense of like, yo, you got this, bro. So it was I was like you can see in that picture, there's so many people there. And like even if
Mm-hmm.
you look at the surrounding pictures like that are like were posted, there were so many people. But when I tell you, I don't remember Jack a thing, bro. I don't remember the color wars. I don't remember that person on the left looking at me one time or anything. I literally just walked and I low key, I can't lie. I won't lie to you. It wasn't perfect. Like I walked quickly, like I walked with a little bit of limp because I was sick at the time. I didn't tell you what that.
Mm.
Um, but I didn't showcase this picture. I didn't showcase any pictures from London Fashion because again I was like kind of yeah, it's kind of like this big thing. Um, but from it was kind of weird because my friend Sophie, who like took care of my cameras, um, she I don't know, I guess she was on a balcony. Apparently, there's a balcony in the building. Didn't see that. She went back in the building and took a video, and then she put on her story, said how proud she was. Even called me. I said how proud she was. She told me when she was there. She posted, it, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just showcase that video a little bit. And when I tell you, people was like, what the heck? I thought that guy looked familiar, Andrew, but I haven't actually showcased like personally from like myself, like yo, like by the way, like a couple of months ago, a couple of months ago, it's probably a couple few months ago now, at the London Fashion Week, and I haven't really showcased that because again, it's like it was definitely a turning point, not in terms of like I feel like I'm bigger now or anything like that, but just in terms of my mentality and mindset and approach to things like preparation, how much preparation it took, and you know what I was feeling grateful for, and just understanding everything that came with it. So that's why I kind of love that picture. I'm going to showcase the London Fashion Week. I just want to showcase it right. I want to make no promises, but
Yeah.
I'm going to showcase it at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so this next image here is it looks like you're walking in an urban environment like in a city. It looks like you're squashing us with your sneaker. But what's the story behind this?
So this was the first. So it's actually very weird the way like these pictures work and like what we've talked about because this picture was with the same brand that I took. Remember that one where I'm like with the Air Jordan with my leg picking up?
Oh yeah.
That same brand. So that's the brand for the hoodie. So that's just that's on different days. This one came before the other one, but it's actually weird where it's like there's an emphasis on my legs in that picture and this picture, and it was for the same brand. So shout out to Elevation. They invited me out as a result of Thomas and Charlie. They're literally like my business partners. Like how it works is Charlie was the photographer. Thomas used to be the videographer. I used to be the model, and we kind of have like a network, kind of like a business was like people reach out and then we're like, oh yeah, we have a whole team ready. Let us know. Um, so that was one of the like one of my favorite shots. There was other shots, and I didn't get to showcase this one because we wore a lot of clothes that day, so I couldn't actually I couldn't fit this with the pose that I had for that shoot. But I love this one because like it kind of looks like the like my leg. It looks like huge, like I'm squashing someone, and like the building was kind of like morphed, like it kind of
Mm-hmm.
looks kind of bendy. And I love that. Like I'm just a weirdo when it comes to like anything like it's just like that technical aspect when you like creating stuff. I just love all the like when it comes to lenses, editing, Lightroom, whatever it may be, like sound. I just love anything about that. That's why this is one of my favorite pictures. I've actually never posted this, but I actually love it.
Yeah, I definitely like the perspective. That's really cool. Um, Okay, let's talk about this next photo here. You look like you're in like a big area of land. There's a lot of
Oh,
grass, and you got looks like you have like a is that a yes you yeah you got the rose.
roses. Yeah, I got the roses.
So what's the story behind this and like where was this located?
That was funny. So, this is so weird. Like everything interconnects with someone I just talked about. So this is me and Tammy. I think this is probably the first thing I've ever showed of Tammy. But me and Tammy always work on like personal projects. Like this is, it will never be anything like brands reaching out. It's just be like, yo, I have this concept from this song I listened to. Let's do this. I have this thing from something I felt 2 months ago. Let's do this. And like in turn, like we'll go create this capture. Like meantime, like I say, dynamic duo. That's why, literally. Um, so this project came about. It was in what month was it? So in October of 2022, um, I made a post. It's like again a black and white one. But this is feels like deja vu. But anyways, a black and white one where there was one where I'm in a suit, and then there's one where I'm in like a balaclava, like a ballet. Um, and from that, like I kind of got the idea of the duality of man. It's like yo, like you have someone who's like going through a hard life, but then can also be presented as very distinguished. So this is part one of it, the kind of distinguished
Mm-hmm.
aspect, and we wanted to kind of showcase a lot of elements of like pops of red, um, where it's like that's why the red roses are kind of there. Where it's like, yeah, we may be distinguished. I look like a gentleman, like a very suave kind of guy. But on the other side, I'm not too sure if the picture is in here and this like crop of pictures I gave to you, but it's like we're using the same roses with me in kind of bandages, like I'm kind of injured. You know how roses are very like have like very thorny, like
Right.
thorn kind of impregnating. That's not the word, but like what's the word with like going into your skin? But, like
Penetrate.
yeah, penetrate.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. Thank you. The thorns, like the roses, are kind of like swooping out the bandages, so it kind of giving it like I'm scarred from the same thing that you think that I'm kind of distinguished from. And it was weird because me and Tammy had been wanting to do this, and we had a whole written concept. Like it was the first time I got into that creative directing mode where it's like I'm writing the concept,
Mm-hmm.
writing the people I want there. I want shot A, B, C. I want photo A, B, C, video B, location B. And obviously, you listen, you learn from it. Whereas, like, you got to compromise on some things. But yeah, this called the Scarred Entity Project, and there's so much content there where it's Tamu was housing for his friend. He was went abroad. He was like, yo, like I'm at the edge of the coast of the country, pull up for a couple of days. Let's just go crazy. And like 2 3 days, like we were like cycling up and down hill for like 20 kilometers, going to location, going to fields, beaches, caves, marshes, just creating content with drones, with like it was just the most thing. There was like one shot where I'm like in the middle of the water. Uh, we actually plan to showcase that. That's the one I'm trying to showcase next. Um, maybe in the next couple of days. But yeah, it's incredible because like it's got a lot of personal thing where I wrote that specific when I was going a specific concert when I was going through a rough time.
Mm-hmm.
And but this is my first kind of personal project where it's like there's a lot behind it, even though it's just two boys just dreaming and creating, but it's like a lot of personal behind it. And I understand I'm being vulnerable, even though I also understand the way I am presenting it may not seem that way. But obviously, you would know now, like, okay, he's being vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
showcase this, that's why he hasn't showcased this. But I definitely want to because it's definitely going to be a start of me creating a lot of stuff. And I have like a whole list of people now I want to create personal, like very storytelling type projects with now. But this is my first one. And yeah, we're just in a random field. was this taken with the drone? No, I think this was tape camera, but yeah, I've like the roses in my mouth, my hands, things like that. Because it's kind of like reflective of the other side, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, and like we talked about before early in the conversations, like how it's not only the outfit but the background too. So I do like in this photo, the like contrast between the green and the like the pinkish of the sunset in the background. I really like that background as well. So that was.
Thank you, thank
All right. So the next photo, I believe you have this. Is this the same location, right? Where it's like
you. Yeah, same
filtered
location.
all red. So
Yeah,
yeah.
this one I took on this film camera here. So that's why it has a like grainy look. But yeah, I'm gonna put that with it, but like again, have kind of like fully like put the emphasis of those elements of red, which is kind of how red is a very powerful emotion. Um, and also like it may be like small, you know, um, just a small thing in like the roses, but like, I want one of them where it's like completely red, completely red. Also nice that this was after the sun kind of went down, so it was dark, but it was good that I was wearing kind of something very bright. So like I'm very illuminated almost, which I really like in this shot.
Okay, wow. Yeah, yeah, the red is very powerful like you mentioned. And it could be seen as like an evil thing or it could be seen as like, oh, you're powerful, you're strong as well. So yeah. So this last one is I don't think I could send that one because it was the file was too big, but
Okay.
I think you may remember it. It's like you're wearing a T-shirt that says elevation on the back, and you're facing. So we only see your back, but you have like this elevation
Yeah.
T-shirt on, and like there's like a city skyline. So what kind of went on behind the scenes with that?
So that's part of that same shoot that I just want to kind of stepping on.
Okay.
And we kind of wanted to like put some little subtle references in terms of the word, in terms of like how you can elevate like towards the skyline or how like skyscrapers kind of elevate too. So we kind of put those kind of notes into it. Again, I didn't showcase this, but this was one of the first. This one was taken on film, um, and I'm like nowadays I'm a film analog head. Where like I love anything film related. Like forget digital to that. No, I'm not saying forget because film is expensive. So if you guys watching this, film is very expensive. This economy is not for the weak heart. Every time I take a role, I'm like, I'm quitting, but this is my last role. But this one the first time when I actually saw film, I was like, yo, a digital camera couldn't make like even the way like the horizon kind of fades away almost. It wasn't foggy that day, but the way the film kind of makes it look, kind of looks like, and kind of the way elevation straight on my back. It's like you kind of I could talk about it one day, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's just those subtle notes, and that's something when I take pictures on my film camera, and like I've actually started to take a lot of pictures nowadays, like family friends and students, and like I start to pick them because I'm always like that's how film was meant to, like back in
Mhm.
the day, the parents have these big albums of film pictures, like so I've started to print all my film pictures off and like my favorite ones and things like that. Because there's something about like encapsulating like a specific moment in history, which you can kind of keep forever. It's kind of like I wouldn't say it's time traveling because obviously time traveling is time traveling, but so, like
Mhm.
this is a specific date in history in the child. This is my friend Sophie that took on my camera, but it's a specific time in history, and it's like the way film is. It's like a Christmas present because you don't know what the film looks like until you got to develop it. So it's kind of like it's scary, but it's amazing at the same time. So
Right.
that's the first time I fell in love with the film, and I think my friend Charlie took that, realized that, and that's why like a couple months afterwards, he literally gifted me a camera. I was
Wow.
like,
Yeah, I definitely need to get. I definitely want to invest in some cameras when I get the opportunity to, because, like you said, like
yeah,
photos are like they're like treasures. You could look back at something and be like, oh, I remember that moment. This was funny. This was
yep,
crazy,
yep,
and
yep.
it's really
And you can create literally whatever you want. Like you
right.
like all of these pictures right now is like from this piece of metal. Like that's kind of like weird
It's
to think about.
right, yeah. But if you think about it too, it's like is one thing like the camera's capturing the moment, but at the same time, in the whatever that time happened in the past, like we're capturing it with our own eyes, like
Yeah,
our natural lenses that God has given us. So,
yeah, because you kind of like see it, and it's
mm,
like, oh, it's there.
then you take
God,
it.
I see it. Let me go capture it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get you exactly.
But man, Kojo, this was amazing. Like, and
Thank you for having me.
thank you for sharing like your exclusive photos too, because like this is something you haven't posted yet, so I appreciate you like showing them here.
No, I'm glad I got to showcase them here because like now it's giving me more confidence to sometimes most of the time I get in my head to be like, okay, don't like, or maybe not. Yeah, you feel me? Maybe not be right time, but me showcasing to you and like hearing your kind of perspective and like outlook on them, it's
Hmm.
definitely made me more confident in hoping to share them in the near future.
Definitely. Okay, well, I want to thank you so much, Kojo, for sharing your modeling and fashion journey with me and whoever is going to watch this. So I want to say,
I
I want to say to you, I hope you continue to be great, do good things for
thank you.
yourself and others,
Likewise,
stay passionate, and continue to do what you love. And may the universe continue to keep you strong mentally, physically, and spiritually along your pathway.
amen,
Yes.
amen. Thank you
So
very much.
so with that being said, anyone who's tuned in, if you like content such as this, feel free to like and share this video, comment your thoughts. A lot of amazing things were shown here, said here. So hope you enjoy my conversation today with the one and only Kojo. And I'll see you guys next time and take care.
Thank you for having me.